welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the product, where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture,
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
the village people, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom, back from vacation. With me each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello,
How you doing,
Jason.
Sorry,
I'm good.
Even though we did a show last week, I still feel like
Really?
we took a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was a long weekend. And to be honest, the going to work today after the long weekend was like, it was bad. It was a fucking slog.
Yeah.
Which immediate sidebar, right away, right into a fucking sidebar.
Sure, why not?
If I say to you, it's 2 miles as the crow flies,
Yes.
what does that mean to you?
That means like a direct line from here
Okay.
to the destination.
So that's not like a crazy saying, right?
No,
That's
no.
like that's pretty normal.
I'd say so.
Okay.
Why did somebody?
Well, I used that in conversation with Kathy, and she was like, "I've never heard that before." I'm like, "That's like super common." Of all this bullshit that I say all the time, because weird shit comes out of my mouth all the time.
Oh yeah, and a lot of it's rubbed off on me.
My penis so smooth.
I meant to hit that, but yeah, I have a weird, and it's John. John and I feed off each other when we're together.
Uh-huh.
Of weird nonsense coming out of our faces.
Oh yeah.
So honestly, it's like when something that common,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, as the crow flies. It's like, how about, do you know what a self-licking ice cream cone is?
Yeah, like just almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of
Yes,
thing.
yes,
Very
yes.
similar to that.
Yeah, she hadn't heard that one either. Now, granted, I've only ever really heard that in the military.
Wait, hang on. Was this recent that she had never heard of that?
Yeah, yesterday.
Because you and I both use that all the time.
Facts. But yeah,
She had never heard you say that before.
or she never paid it. See, she doesn't listen to what I say. Like,
I like how we're putting Kathy on blast right at the start of the show.
well, it's because she's still at work, so I don't have to worry about it. But no, it was just like one of those things. Like, am I crazy? Am I? Yes, is the answer. But I just really felt like, man, am I like really? Like I said, I know I come up with some weird shit,
Mhm.
but I feel like some of those things are like even the civilians use.
Yeah, well, especially
Although
as the crow flies. But I mean, maybe that's just like too of an old reference. People are like, what do you mean in the crow flies? No, that's not how Kathy sounds.
No,
I'm not
no,
saying
no,
that.
no. And,
No mocking.
but yeah, it was fucking.
Hmm.
It was weird. It was weird. I needed somebody else to validate that as I was thinking about it. I meant to put it in the notes, but I forgot. So I figured I better get it out of my face
Yeah.
now before I forget.
So, like, are we just doing this live right now, or are we just changing our start time permanently to 5 p.m.? Is that what is going on here? I'm reading the chat.
Oh, I mean, look, if I can manage to get out of work early enough, I mean, why not?
Yeah, and I'm off on Mondays, so it doesn't matter to me.
Right. So
So yeah, if you want to, I'm totally down.
yeah.
This way, have some time afterwards to actually.
Yeah, and if we have to
sleep.
slip, if I'm working late for some reason, at least we have some time to slip into, and we're not going into, hey, we're working towards 9 o'clock,
Right.
and you're like a zombie, and sitting in front
Yeah.
of me. So yeah,
All right. Yeah, it works for me, man. And yeah, everybody in the chat saying, do it. Okay, anyway, so, now that we're done with all the sidebars, what are we talking about today?
Acolyte.
Jesus
We're
Christ.
talking about the next Acolyte.
Yeah, did you really not know for a second?
It took me. It did take me a second.
Okay.
I'm doing like a lot of things.
Right.
I took my Adderall today, and I said this before the show started. I took it today, and it's not making me focus on any one thing. It's just making me focus on a lot of things really fast.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like
I don't think that's better.
it's not. It really isn't. It's like, oh, work on this, work on this. Whoa, oh, like, yeah. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So Yeah, take that for what it is. So if I seem a little extra today,
All right.
that's why.
Fair enough. So yeah, we're talking about the next episode of The Acolyte, but as always, we have a ton of other business to get to first.
Right.
So should we talk about Patreon?
You, sir, should talk about Patreon.
All right. Well, as always, we'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Frank Kalevich, Don Solsky, Helen Martin, Shotgun Mark, Nick from Sweet Studios, who we're going to be talking about again here in a minute, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Catherine Rennick, Tina Land, Frederick Martin, Wally Frogmore, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Lord Helmet Fire, The Orange and Fett Show, Carly Vickers, David Schmuck, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Kristen Roscom, Sterling Azier, Dragon Buddy, and Nicholas Schaefer. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again for all your support. You are the reason why we do this.
My penis so smooth.
Oh, come on, man.
I love that the buttons are right next to each other.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a happy little accident.
Sure. So I know Lunar Girl has been on a bit of a hiatus recently.
Right.
Do you have any sidebar notes to read?
I might. Let me finish typing this into Google first so I can open up that window because I have a window open right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that.
Yeah, we did kind of have to get ready rather abruptly today.
Because I'm like, hey, let's go early. And Jason's like, okay, that's a good idea. And we went along with our normal like pacing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, it's like 7 minutes to 5.
Yeah. Yeah, literally the goat scream.
Yeah. So let me do that. I did that. So let me do this
Oh, Jesus
just to
Christ.
make sure. No, nothing.
Can you tell I'm sunburned? Maybe a little.
I can.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It doesn't
if it
really
should-
come
off
very well
based
on
on
the camera.
the way the lighting is right now. I look like I'm sunburned, and
Yeah.
I'm really not that pink.
Yeah, thankfully I've got this hair on top that keeps my head from getting burned.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah. So anyway,
Frosty tips.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's coming back, man. It's fucking 1998 all over again, son.
That's that. I don't know if that's good.
Or no, it was the early 2000s when people were frosting their
It
hair.
was the early 2000s when what's his name? The guy who cooks things.
Gordon Ramsay?
No, the other guy who cooks things. Who has the frosted tips. Hence the bringing it up in the conversation.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
He has a bunch of fucking restaurants.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Something.
I can't fucking remember his name for the life of me, though.
Something fire. Something.
All right, I'm sure the chat will correct us. So let's keep moving. So we have no sidebar notes?
No, nothing.
All righty. Then I guess we should move to the day in Star Wars. I actually have one for today.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wait, I have a. There we go.
Yeah. Now you would
Why
think.
make the noise when
Oh,
I
actually, I know what
push
it
the
is. So, yeah, it was on this day today in 1983. Any guesses? You probably won't get it, but
button.
what does it have to do with?
Let's see. 83 is when Jedi came out.
Correct. Yeah. So on this day in 83, Return of the Jedi opened in Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like
When was Natalie Portman born?
I don't know, but I mean, luckily we have all of the knowledge in the world at our fingertips.
Very good.
Natalie Portman birthday, 1981. June 9th, 1981.
I was trying to make some correlation there between Star Wars and Natalie Portman's birth with Israel,
Yeah.
since that's the only really two things that I could make that connection with.
That's true. Yeah, she's from Israel. So she was there 2 years old at the time. And I'm sure they would have much preferred to have that be their biggest news story than what's going on right now.
Factually correct.
So anyway, enough about
Do
that.
it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
That seems to be what's happening.
Let's move on to our weeks then.
Yes, let's do that. All right. When did I hit record?
Like right before we started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been a thing for me. I had a dude where I'm going to say this now, that way we get to your weeks and I won't interrupt you,
Sure.
but I probably will. We had a dude come in to the office today, And he's like, blah, 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 pilot stuff. And I was like, yeah, blah, 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 pilot stuff. He's like, oh, yeah, you sent that in an email. And I'm like, I sent an email about that? As it turns out, I did. I sent a very detailed email about this
You
thing.
don't remember?
And I don't remember. I did not recall sending that fucking email.
Wow.
And it like later on, like a couple hours later, I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh, I sent out an email about that too. Shit. Like,
did you just blank out for like an hour,
bro,
as to like sending emails? And
it was all good shit like last week.
yeah,
But
wow.
even him talking to me about it, there was no like ding dong, hey, we're here. This information. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I get something similar, but it's more like, yeah, I told you that, last week, or I told you that last month, like relating to work stuff.
Right.
And I'm just like, I have no memory of that at all. So
did you write it down?
right.
And the worst part is like, no, you sent me that in an email. I did. It just feels so old. So old.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sucks. All right. Let's get into our week then.
Yes.
I have no additions to
The sacred Jedi
this week because I was out California, spent some money while I was there, and just
like you do.
yeah. So, but it was great.
Fireworks were meant to be bought out there.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure.
of course, yeah. We only bought like $150 worth of fireworks for me and Ben, but it was still a good time. Yeah, visited family. It's always nice to see them. We went to this little town called Carpinteria in California. Now, I've heard my mom talking about this randomly here and there because I guess her and her husband go there every summer.
Okay.
Like they have a big family gathering there every summer with his family. And yeah, apparently it's like this not very well known place, even though it's on the California coast. And it's fucking awesome. It wasn't that packed. Because I saw some pictures of like Ocean City here.
Oh, yeah.
Over the 4th, and oh my god,
Jersey Shore was fucking mogged out.
You couldn't see the sand underneath all the people.
Yeah, it was, and it needed to be because it was so fucking hot.
Yeah, and I half expected to that to be the case in Cali at that beach, but no, it really wasn't. And not only was the beach not packed, the town itself is fucking awesome. Like it's. Like they have some like cool antique. Well, first of all, they've got a ton of places to eat. They've got cool antique stores. They've got like, well, I'll just say they had a very cool record store.
Word?
Yeah, so they had a record store that was, well, it was more like a nostalgia store.
Okay.
Mostly focusing on music. Like primarily what they had were records, a lot of vinyl. But, they sold cassette tapes, CDs. They had VHSs, like old VHS movies, a lot of sort of nostalgia stuff. Really old comic books, things of that nature. And it was pretty cool. They were playing the Beach Boys as soon as we walked in.
Nice.
I'm like, all right, this place rocks. And they had this little sticker sale.
What? Stickers?
Yeah, so I'm like, well, Dave loves stickers.
I love stickers.
The problem was I'm digging through this thing of stickers and I'm like, no, Dave doesn't like that. No, Dave wouldn't like that. No, Dave doesn't like the Rolling Stones. No, Dave doesn't like the Doors. So, availability was limited.
It's a problem with everyone knowing what my likes and dislikes are in music.
Yeah. So why don't you flip through these 3 stickers that I did get for you and maybe even show the people at home.
America. Fuck yeah. Coming again to save the motherfucking day. Yeah, America. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have an epileptic seizure. Look at it. It like fits right on my head. All right.
Yeah.
America. Dude, that's awesome.
Because, of course, again, it was the 4th of July weekend.
And there is a Pink Floyd one.
Yep. Because I know you like that album.
Look at how perfectly symmetrical that is.
That's right.
There's something just aesthetically pleasing about that right now.
Yeah.
You guys, does everyone else see it? There's just like a Zen thing. Yeah, that's that. I like that.
Yeah, it's Mars in the
NASA logo.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay,
it's the Mars meatball. I wonder if there's some significance to the constellation that's on there too.
Maybe.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, so I grabbed those for you while we were in that store. I figured I had to give the guy some kind of money for something because the store was just too cool. So
That's awesome.
let's see. Back to what else I did. Dude, fucking hot this week.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the West is having a crazy heat wave right now.
Yeah.
And
Everything's on fire out there.
yeah, and
Literally.
and like Vegas had a record high temperature. A lot of places in California had new record high temperatures.
Jeez
It was
Louise.
insane. There were 3 days in a row while we were there where it was 110 plus. Yeah. Yeah. It was brutal.
That's not fun.
But at the Carpinteria,
Right.
it was like 70s.
Nice.
And it was great.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Nice cool breeze.
Yeah. Well, you have the convection off the Pacific, right? And the
Yeah.
Pacific is just colder.
Yep.
I mean, even colder than the Atlantic this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was the same thing. Kathy and I went down to shore for a day, and we got that convection off of we forgot something.
What?
The birthday thing.
Oh shit. Yeah, I skipped right by that. Okay. Where did I leave off?
Anyway, yeah, we went down there and it was like 82 down the shore.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so let's pause real quick because we would like to give one of our good friends a belated happy birthday.
Yes.
And that would be this guy,
Yes.
Big Swede, or just for you, buddy. Happy belated birthday. He shares a birthday with my mother, as I know we've talked about in
Yes.
previous
And my
years.
sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So here's what's fucked up. So we're like texting back and forth on the 3rd. I was supposed to be at his house on Saturday, and I was trying to do everything. You know how you try and do everything
Oh, yeah.
at one time? You were just doing it
That
on
was
vacation.
today, yeah.
Like, I got to get everything done right now.
Mhm.
So we went, Kathy, I'll get into what we did on our week, but I ended up getting kind of stuck down the shore, and I wasn't able to make Swede's party. Because by the time I got back with traffic and everything else, I was like, I'm wiped, dude. I just can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up fucking collapsing on the couch. Fucking traffic. But yeah,
I can only imagine what it would have been like.
I thought that Swede was born on the 4th of July. For some reason in my head, I'm like, oh, he was on the 4th of July. And it just was like in my head that way. So I was looking at Facebook, and he was like, you know how Facebook is with birthdays. And I'm like, oh, fuck, his birthday was yesterday. And we were texting back and forth, like bullshitting.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, he must think I'm such an asshole because I completely, like, we're going back and forth, and I didn't even mention it. It's like, God damn, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I have, like, such the worst spatial disorientation for, like, where we are in space and time right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bad.
Oh, somebody in the chat, by the way, when we were talking about forgetting stuff, said you got Biden brain. We should start using that. Oh, I got a case of the Biden brain.
No politics on the show.
Okay, so back to my week.
Yes, back to your week.
The heat, yeah, it sucked. Hello to my mom, because she's probably going to be watching this. She might even be watching this live right now, because she said she always likes to watch the show after I come home, and then she watches while I talk about the stuff we did.
Nice.
And the first day I saw her, on her birthday, I had her world famous enchiladas, which are fucking so good. Like, that's been my favorite food ever since I was a kid, when my mom makes enchiladas.
Nice.
They call them okiladas out there, because
Okay.
they're a bunch of Okies and they make it in their own way.
Okay.
You know what an Okie is?
No.
It's kind of like a slang for redneck, mostly because a lot of them came from Oklahoma, like in my hometown.
That's in my brain. I'm like, Okie would be Oklahoma, but it's not really that. Okay. Then yes, that makes sense.
Let's see. I played a lot of chess with my brother. That was awesome. First time I played chess since the last time I was home and played with him. It was good though. It makes me want to fucking start playing for real again.
Yeah.
If nothing else, like pull up one of the video game chess games and play. So, yeah.
I had gotten into it. Like, I don't know. Actually, right before my dad passed, I was playing it more because in the office, guys were playing it.
Yeah.
the guy I work with, Q, he plays chess. He's like does the daily thing,
Mhm.
and you know he's real good. And they had a board at work for, you know, who was beating who.
No shit.
Yeah, and I played one match and it was against Q, and I got beat because I haven't played legitimate chess in so long that I don't have adequate strategy.
Sure.
So everything I'm doing is reactionary,
Mhm.
and I'm using Dave Brain to try and fucking see where everything is going.
Yeah.
But it's I'm not a computer. It's impossible to do it. My computing power, like maybe if I was a Pentium 2, maybe, but I'm a fucking
186 or
280, like, well, x86, like it wasn't even there was not even a number. Then it went to 386. So I'm probably in that 386 range.
Okay.
With 4 megabytes of RAM.
It's not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot of RAM.
Not a lot of RAM.
All right. So we also set off fireworks as we normally do. Not as well. Okay. My mom's friend who like her neighbor who always does the illegal stuff. He didn't do that this year.
Okay.
But there were plenty of people in her neighborhood that were. So we were still seeing the illegals going off everywhere. We set off our legal stuff. There were 3 fires around close to my mom's house that night.
I believe it.
Yeah, because like one of them happened just like we could see it from the little hill that her house is on. Like her neighbor, two houses down. Not only did they set fire to their own lawn, they set fire to the shrub that was in the field across the street from them.
Yeah.
My brother went down, by the way, and tried to stomp it out with his foot without wearing shoes.
Oh, that's going to end well.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's very impulsive. And then there was another one up the road. So speaking of this, because this goes right into my next point. So the big fire that happened like on the other side of the hill from her house, we could see it, and we already saw the fire department going over. But I'm like, I want to go walk to the top of the hill and see the rest of this. Now, Ben, my youngest son, who I took with me, he had already gone to bed. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna crash for the night because this was, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock, something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And just before that, my mom's neighbor, the guy that used to set off the illegals, good guy, but true redneck through and through. He walks up because they were out doing something for the 4th somewhere else, and he drove up, walked over to mom's house. I said hello, and he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have driven today. I'm pretty fucking drunk. He's like, I shouldn't have driven home, but I'm going to go to bed now. Keep this in mind. This happened like Ben going to bed and him, saying he shouldn't have driven drunk happened like 2 minutes before we saw this fire. So I'm walking up the hill with my nephew. And all of a sudden we hear, well, he wanted to come with me to see the fire. And all of a sudden we hear behind us, brrr, and fucking the neighbor pulls up in like a not a Jeep, but what do they call the dune buggies or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. One of the things you do off-roading with and everything. It's got kind of like almost like a cage over it. Yeah, he pulls up in one of those with my son in the fucking passenger seat. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Were you in bed?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell just happened?
So yeah, apparently in that very short period of time, they both heard people yelling, "Oh, there's a fire over there!" And apparently, the word "fire" like lit them both up, and they both went outside.
There's a fire. Let's go.
Yeah, and then so I'm like, my son is in this dune buggy. Never been in one in his life. The dude driving it is fucking plastered. So, I'm like, Ben, does that thing have a seatbelt? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, put on the seatbelt.
Put on your seatbelt.
Yeah, and then they kind of drove around and came back. But the next day, like Ben loved it. He fucking loved it to the point where the next day he was up early and was trying to, get the guy to wake up so he could take him for another ride that day. And eventually the guy did. And yeah, he took Ben out for, I'd say, a good, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes on that thing. And I got a couple of videos of it too. I put it on social media, but he fucking loved it. He could not stop saying after he got back, I want to be a redneck now. And he was saying that for the rest of the week. I want to be a redneck. And all he's been talking about is that fucking dune buggy ride.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, it was pretty funny. Besides that, he wanted to do metal detecting and stargazing while we were out there. So I'm like, okay, let me think of how I can make this happen. So the week before we went out, I ordered a cheap metal detector and a cheap telescope from Amazon and just had them shipped to my mom's house.
Okay.
So when we got there, they were there ready to be used. We found a couple things on the on the beach when we were metal detecting. Nothing important, but it was cool. You know, you get the beep and then you dig and it's like, oh shit, it's a metal rod that you use to like put tents down,
right?
And the spikes. So yeah, that was kind of neat. And then for the stargazing, the telescope I got was shit. Like when you like try to focus on a star, it's still a dot. It's just a slightly bigger dot.
Right.
So what we did was, because again, there's a lot of hills at my mom's place, because my mom lives way outside of Bakersfield. We set up the telescope on the hill and we were just looking at the town, and it was fucking cool because, you could see the town in the distance of the lights and you just saw fireworks constantly going off.
Oh, that's cool.
Everywhere in the city. And I'm like, wow. And of course they were all the illegals.
Of
so
course.
like everybody in fucking Bakersfield was also lighting off shit. And it was just constant. Like you would never see more than a couple seconds pass without seeing fireworks going off.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But to note on that, investing in a good pair of binoculars you're going to be much better off than even like a cheap telescope like that. Even though the magnification, you would think, oh, this magnification is not going to be there. They're so much more portable, and the optics generally are going to be better.
Yeah.
In a pair of binoculars. Like, I'm not saying like the giant Astro ones that I sent out with you to
oh, those were awesome.
New Mexico. Those are a little tougher to travel with.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of,
a little bulky.
They're kind of big.
My penis is so smooth.
But yeah, just a good pair of binoculars, especially like, looking at planets and stuff like that. Stars they're so fucking far away, man. That's like that's going to be tough, but you could, I mean, shit, from where you were, you probably could have seen Andromeda fairly decently lower on the horizon.
Yeah, it was a little on the horizon. Couldn't really see it very well with this telescope. And then I was looking for either Saturn or Jupiter, but they were both below the horizon already.
Yeah, but yeah, that's Dave's tip for the thing. Hey, look, Helmet Fire is saying the same thing with the binoculars.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like I said, good travel tip. Bring some binoculars.
And maybe we'll do that next time, like pre-order them on Amazon and have them shipped there. Or just fucking buy them here and put them in our suitcases.
Yeah, that would probably be better.
Speaking of suitcases, like Ben and I both just packed a small carry-on suitcase.
Right.
And then we had our backpacks for our personal item, because for years I thought that when after they started charging for bags and all this shit and everybody fucking started bringing shit for the overheads, like I thought you were only allowed one thing. I didn't know you could bring both a backpack and a suitcase.
Right.
And once I realized that, I'm like, ooh, I need to take advantage of this. And Ben and I did not check any bags. We only used the fucking overheads in our backpacks, and it was fucking great. Because that's always the worst part of flying, is getting there and then having to wait for fucking ever for your bags.
Yeah.
So, like, especially when we landed in Philly. Oh, it was great, because we landed in Philly. We fucking got right off the plane, just like went straight for the exits where they have the transportation, because we always park at the parking spot.
Right.
And the fucking shuttle was already there waiting. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking great. So from the moment we stepped off of that fucking plane to the moment we were driving, 15 minutes.
Nice.
Which was fucking great. So anyway, that really wasn't part of the week. We also went to my favorite Mexican restaurant / check cashing place.
That's why there's a picture of Ben in front of a check cashing place.
Well,
okay, fair enough.
If you go back through my history, you'll see like 2 or 3 pictures of me doing the same pose in front of that, because I have to go. Dave, this fucking Mexican restaurant is so good. And the prices are really decent too. Like, I get this massive fucking platter with 3 different items on it, and beans and rice and some other stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's like $14.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all so good. So yeah, I had to make my obligatory stop at that. And I actually learned the actual name of the restaurant because for years I've just been calling it the Mexican food check cashing place. It's called La Hacienda. So if you're ever in Bakersfield, California, check out La Hacienda.
La Hacienda.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. And then on the last day, so normally I wouldn't talk about this because it's kind of some personal shit. But my sister posted it all over social media, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can talk about this then. Yeah, I almost murdered somebody on Friday because so little backstory. My sister, she's had substance abuse issues in the past, but she like 2 years ago she started a 12-month sobriety program.
Okay.
And she finished the whole 12 months. She's now been 11 months sober, so she's coming up on a year. She's been doing fucking great.
Awesome.
But that time can be a little fragile for people, especially early, because I'm sure the temptations are high and everything. And since she got out of that rehab, she's been staying with a couple of friends of hers, a married couple.
Okay.
And apparently they've been good friends for years. So I get a call from her on the 5th. This incident happened on the 4th. She was, at her place, getting ready for work, getting ready to go out, I guess, for the 4th. And she said she was showering. She stepped out of the shower, still didn't have anything on because she was like putting lotion on and everything.
Uh-huh.
And she looks over and she sees a fucking cell phone camera sticking from under the door.
Really?
Yeah. And the husband was the only person that was home at that time. And like she freaked the fuck out.
Yeah. As you should.
Yeah. So that incident happens. And as she's telling me this, I'm like, okay, I can grab one of my dad's golf clubs. I know where this guy lives. I probably could kill him with the golf club if I really tried. And
it's not hard.
And like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
Humans are fragile. It's not hard to kill them.
I'm like, I'm gonna go fucking murder this guy right now. But several people talked me out of it. And I convinced my sister to report it to the police, which she did, thankfully. No idea if anything is going to come of this, but the husband is denying it. The wife is taking the husband's side on this, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So hopefully something happens to this guy because I Googled it. Like as my sister was talking to me, I Googled it, and it's considered like an invasion of privacy type
voyeurism.
thing, and it's like 6 months in jail in California.
Can be,
so yeah. But yeah, no, that happened to her. She was so distraught after that.
God, I would have. There wouldn't have. Dude, it's very fortunate that you were around people that could talk you out of that. Because
no, I was ready to kill a motherfucker. Like seriously.
That would have been bad. That would have been really bad.
So yeah, and she called the local sheriff. They escorted her to the house to get all of her shit out of there. But yeah, no, not a good situation. Thank God she did not fall off the wagon. That was my biggest concern at that point. I mean, yes, she was very upset, and yes, this was a very invasive thing, horrible thing. But I'm just like, please, for the love of God, tell me you didn't drink. And she's like, nope. The thought came into my head, but I've been working too hard for this, so I'm not going to do anything. But yeah, like such a shitty situation. And yeah, again, if well, I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Don't say anything that could be held against you later.
Yeah, so that was my last day in California. And now that I'm back, the dieting has begun. I am officially now on a diet. It's no special diet. I'm just like eating mostly fruits and vegetables, and I'm exercising. Just because I got to lose all of this belly fat because I've been feeling like shit lately. Just because I know I'm like so overweight, and it's just like, like everything is just feels bad. So I'm working on that, and and that's what I'll be doing for the next several months.
Nice.
As I'm trying to cut and then go back to a moderate eating thing. Because lately I've been just eating whatever the fuck I want, basically for 2 years.
Yeah, and it's glorious.
It is
when you're doing it, but the aftermath is
right. Yeah. So and then that's exactly how I've felt. So that's it, and that's it for my week. Just a fun adventure in California.
That's awesome. Glad you didn't murder anybody.
Yes,
but I've definitely been. I know exactly that feeling.
Yeah.
I know exactly that feeling.
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, you don't fuck with my sister, my baby sister.
Golf club. We're gonna have a conversation about things after this. Helmet fire. Yeah. So one of the things that we did because my wife and I, we both had the long weekend,
Yeah.
and so Kathy was on the 4th, like she was in a parade with the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, nice.
And so she was in the parade, and I just kind of I walked around taking pictures like I was some sort of press pull photographer. Like I was just walking. I was all in everything.
Yeah.
Like, just act like you belong and nobody says anything to you, right? Because the Run Me Parade was actually pretty significant.
Yeah.
There's like 6 string bands and fucking, but their float, they worked on this float really hard, and they won first prize for their float. So
nice. Congratulations, Kathy.
yeah, it was great. And she had a good time. You could just tell she loved interacting with everybody and had a good time. And then for the 4th, we didn't do anything. We had our own barbecue.
Yeah. Just the two of you?
Yep, just the two of us. We got a little inflatable pool that we put our feet in.
Nice.
And yeah, we had just had a nice relaxed experience.
I got to remember that. Maybe Kristen and I will do that next year.
Well, this is the first year that we haven't really traveled, because usually we travel over this week, because the old dental office she worked in, this is their big vacation week for this. They only have 2 weeks throughout the year that they really take their vacation time, and this was one of them over the 4th of July break.
Yeah.
So that's when we would always plan our vacations. I mean, I'm talking about for the past 20 years.
Right.
So the fact that we weren't going somewhere, because we went to Orlando earlier this year, so that was kind of our trip for the year. It was nice to just chill out. It was nice to just have no real burden or responsibility. And it was nice. I got some burgers on the grill, and we some squash and zucchini out of the garden.
Sweet.
I grilled that up. It came out real nice. So yeah, man, it was fucking great. Then Friday, one of the things that Kathy's been talking about doing is going and visiting this this Hindu temple. It's in Robbinsville, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, I like seeing cool shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do this. Like she had been talking about it, and I was like, yeah, let's go do it. It'd be fun. So I'm going to share my screen because I made a little PowerPoint.
Nice.
For it.
All right. Hope you guys were expecting some PowerPoint, because that's what you got.
That's what you're getting. Like Hindu temples, a bland PowerPoint.
Nice.
Because I didn't feel like doing anything special to it. Really, this is just so that Jason would stop busting my balls about the fact that we're not. I keep having to find pictures like when I'm showing pictures. So
Wait, did you put that together while we were sitting here?
Yes, that's what I was doing.
That's good.
Always stuff going on.
Clearly.
So, all right. So you got the opportunity to go to Angkor Wat, right?
No, I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't.
I didn't want to fly on a foreign airline.
So I did. I was a silly person and got on a King Air that went into when we were in Cambodia for a thing, and we had a few days off, and me and Keith Peachin, we went into Siem Reap, which is the name of the town you fly into, and then we went and did the temple tour. Now, when we went, there were severe flooding, like throughout that entire area.
Oh,
like it was when Cambodia was like really dealing with this massive flooding. So some of the temples were actually washed out where you couldn't get a vehicle to them. But so on the screen right now for the audio listener is a picture that I took of Angkor Wat from across this lake that was inside the walled area, right? So it was there was a moat and then there's this walled area. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Angkor Wat, it was it's
one of the 7 wonders of the world, right?
One of the largest that was ever built. It was built around like 1100 CE, something like that.
What, CE?
I don't know. I just know that that's what they call the date.
I thought it was AD.
I think it's like 12th century. Just think 12th century. Well, no, they got rid of AD because there was like religious implications. I don't know. People are fucking weird, man.
Fucking the Catholic Church made the goddamn calendar that we all use now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the one we've been using for fucking a millennia. So.
Yeah, and it works too.
Yeah, whatever. People are idiots. So anyway, yeah, I think it was like the 12th century. It was originally a Hindu temple, and then it had Buddhist influence later because they had moved into it, and then it was like gone, and then explorers, like French explorers, kind of wandered into it, like they're like going through the forest and like, fuck, look at this giant temple.
Yeah.
So anyway, Angkor Wat. You can see it on the screen. The way the towers are, it's pretty fucking phenomenal. The entire complex is it's an amazing place to go.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I went. So I bring this up to talk about, here's Skinny Dave. Look at how skinny I was. That wasn't that long ago. That was only.
God, that was 2011 when we went to Cambodia. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, this was a borrowed camera because I didn't have a camera, so I borrowed somebody's for when I did this. And Peach, I don't know if it was Peach took this picture or our tour guide, but regardless, this is me in front of the stuff at Angkor Wat. And again, what's amazing about going to temples like and shit like this overseas is that this is you could go pretty much. I mean, there was areas to go to, but it's like no, you can touch everything, and like there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping the weather from coming in or anything else because it's a ruin, but and you still want to be respectful because it was a temple at some point.
Yeah. Wait, this is coming from the guy. No, it wasn't you that pissed on one of the pyramids.
No, that was Lenning.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were there.
I was there. And in fairness to him, they did tell him to do it.
Okay.
The security people said over there when he asked about a bathroom, they said, just go over there. They pointed him over there.
Okay.
So it doesn't change the fact that he did it.
Yeah.
But
and hey, how many people can say that they pissed on the pyramids?
Fact. Absolute fact. Anyway, I did not pee anywhere on here. Skinny Dave was being respectful with my green pea Phillies hat because that's how I rolled.
Mm-hmm.
This is the temple that we went to in Robbinsville, New Jersey.
No shit.
Look at this fucking place, man.
That's crazy.
And this complex is massive, and the intricacy of the carvings and the structure, like this is when we kind of came through the main, like you kind of go when you walk in, there's like a reception area, and then you see a video kind of talks about, it gives a little bit of history of this, and then basically tells you follow the dress code, don't touch anything. Okay,
easy enough.
And then very jarringly says Robbinsville, New Jersey a lot, which is just weird because you feel like you're in it. You literally, if you're taken aback by how ornate everything is, and like you're immediately immersed into this culture.
Yeah. Is that housing going around it? Or
no,
what?
No, those are encapsulating structures, or
Okay.
like, and I have other pictures that'll like make sense. But so, and everything was, the marble, the limestone, everything was sourced and then hewn in India, put on a boat, sent to the States, and then assembled here.
Okay.
With all volunteers.
Wow.
So these, Hindu volunteers came, and they basically used this, like the the artisans that made these temples that look like that
Yeah.
are building something that looks like this. The fucked up part is when I turned the corner, I had this immediate sensation of fucking being here at Angkor Wat.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was jarring how much I was like, whoa. I even got goosebumps a little bit because it's really, it comes down to the cone heads, right? It's the spires, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the spires, and it was like the surrounding structure and the way you kind of walked into it. Like it was like, okay, there's you're going into a temple.
Yeah.
Like the way they have it presented, and it has the same feeling when you go into it. And when you go into like that first open area. And I was just taken aback by it. And I said something to Kathy, and she's like, "Oh God, can we not talk about places you've been?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to, but I just need a second to just kind of process it."
Yeah.
So we start there, and then you can't take pictures inside of these areas because they are like places of worship for Hindu. But when I tell you, every single support structure, every surface of everything was so ornately carved, like by hand, ornately carved. There was more marble than I've seen walking the streets of fucking Rome. Like there's in one area that's, it's kind of like where we're standing, it's like behind me. There's one worship area that when you go inside, it looks like it's almost like going into a cave that's made out of marble, and all the marble is carved, and it has these domes that are put together almost like Legos. Like the dome pieces have like keystones. Each piece is like the super ornate, like carved. Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this was free to get into, by the way. Like you just have to make a reservation, and you can fucking show up. And as long as you follow the dress code and don't fucking touch anything, you get to experience this in Robbinsville, New Jersey. So this is a little bit better picture of the outside. A little, so you can kind of see like this fountain here. Like they brought water from India.
Get the fuck out.
Because it's holy water. Which I get it, like to a point, because
it's like Dune.
It's gonna,
they pour the water into the.
Yeah, but in that sietch, it doesn't, like, where's it going to evaporate to? It's just going to, condensate right there where it is. This is going to evaporate into the air in New Jersey, and you're going to get rain. It's going to mix. I don't know. Anyway, let's not think about that.
How do they refill it? They just keep bringing in water?
I guess. I don't know. I didn't get into that level of detail. Anyway, you kind of see the structure around it. So these are pictures from Angkor Wat, right?
Both of these?
Yeah, both of these, this side by side.
Yep.
And what you have is on the walls of these are some of the columns. And I just, I got close-ups, not just because there's fucking boobies, because there are.
I was going to say, those ladies are stacked.
Right. And what's really funny is, like, you can see, like, the boobies have obviously been rubbed on for these over here, because that's
it's we're humans. What are you gonna do?
Because forever they're so small. They're only about that tall. So
yeah.
But anyway, so there's carvings like this as you walk around Angkor Wat, and look at these are thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Right. What we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look behind, like, on the picture on the right, and then look to the left of the one woman that's facing this way.
Yep.
And you can kind of see those, like, flowers kind of carved in there. Like, these surfaces were just like the surfaces that we're talking about in the other temple.
Mm-hmm.
Because every there wasn't a blank canvas anywhere. Like, everything was
had
carved.
some kind of carving on it.
Yeah. This is at the Shri. I butcher I would absolutely butcher the name, but it's the attempt is the Sri Swam in Aryan Mandir is the name of the temple in New Jersey. Robbinsville, New Jersey. Hindu temple. If you Google that, it'll get you there.
We've got a pretty big Indian population in Jersey, too.
Yeah.
We got a temple right around the corner over here.
Yeah.
Not as big as this, obviously.
No, dude, this is this is one of it's the biggest in like the Western civilization.
Wow.
So I took that, compare those two pictures to like how this is something similar where you have the carvings and then you have the tunnels, like the tunneling. And when I was standing there, it made me think about that. Now there's carvings all around all those doorways as you walk through them.
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Just the level of detail.
Yeah, because you can
in
see
these structures.
See Angkor Wat. See, like right there, if you look close at that picture, there's carvings of, of different beings that all have significance all around throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And this temple had the exact same setup.
That's so cool.
This is outside of the Robbinsville temple with the elephants.
That's all hand carved shit too.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then this is like the so this is the outside of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
This is the temple is named after this yogi who was a child, and in his pilgrimage, like apparently at one point in his pilgrimage, he stood like this for 2 months.
Jesus.
And so that's why when they dedicated this temple to him, he's standing like this in the statue.
When you first moved over to the picture, all I saw was the Rocky statue.
that would be a great mashup.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be totally inappropriate and I'd get yelled at by somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I'm a nerd for a lot of things, and that to me was just one of the coolest things that I've seen in New Jersey for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that temple, the way it's constructed, that will outlast damn near any other building. Yeah, there's some monuments that'll probably withstand, the same level and test of time.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the construction, the methodology, the detail that's been put into this. A millennia will go by, and people, if there's still humans walking around on this planet, they're going to walk around to this New Jersey.
Yeah.
If it's still above water.
Right.
Right. And they'll be like, what the fuck is this temple doing here? It just, because all like the one down the street, that's not going to last.
Right.
That fucking, stucco facade is going to, it'll disappear in a fucking, in a decade. But
yeah.
This is not going anywhere for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that that's in fucking New Jersey is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So very, very cool. Worth the experience. Like I said, if you Google Hindu temple, Robbinsville, New Jersey, it'll get you there. And go to the website, make a reservation, and you can go and walk through and just be amazed at what humans can do. Right?
Yeah.
This is, and it's really what it comes down to is what humans can do. And what's really fucking weird is like you're so used to in the U.S., like even overseas, like all the places that I've visited, like all the different temples and shit that I've gone to. There's always this conversation about how much things cost.
Mm-hmm.
Not once did they mention that throughout this entire thing. However, I brought that up to Kathy as something that I noticed.
Uh-huh.
And she said, well, apparently there's like some controversy about that because apparently they brought in slave labor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like there was, the state apparently had to step in because they were paying, like they brought all these workers from India and we're paying them like $1 a day.
Damn.
So the state had to come in and make sure that they were getting an appropriate wage. So to me, honestly, like this is what kind of fucking, this is where my brain goes. This is how I know this fucking building's going to last a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because think of all the buildings that have ever been built that are still around in perpetuity. What do they have in common?
All made by slaves.
They were all built by fucking slaves.
Yeah.
Like it's by slave labor. Fucking the pyramids, I guarantee it, Angkor Wat and every place else, it's all human labor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, take that for what it is. But yeah, it was awesome. That was really cool on our Friday, and then and then Saturday, we went to the gym because we renewed our gym memberships, and
Nice.
I got a bunch of stuff that my physical therapist for the at home stuff is way easier to do in the gym than it is to do
cool.
at home. I am horrible at home shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they say, "Here, do this PT at home," I want to go like, I didn't do homework when I was in fucking 3rd grade. What makes you think I'm going to do it now? Like honestly. So if I can take that same work and go to the gym and be like, okay, I'm just going to add this to whatever I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So it's good. So we both went to the gym on Saturday and we're like, okay, now we're going to the shore. And we shoot down to Brigantine, went to our friends that own the deli in Brigantine, Sandy Jack's. If you're in Brigantine, make sure you go. Order the 8th and Market because it's named after Kate.
That's great.
It's all their food is fantastic. The Dom, the sausage and pepper sandwich is really fucking good. Really
I
good.
bet. Sounds good.
They make great food. They're doing really well, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up down there for a lot longer than I expected, and then so that was Saturday, and then Sunday was what was Sunday? Like, do we have weather on? No, it was still hot as balls.
Yes.
It was just fucking hot. It was too hot to really do anything outside. It was like I tried to go out and do a couple things in the yard, and it just was like, fuck, it's just too fucking hot compared to how nice it was down the shore.
Yeah.
And I just going down there makes me really wish. It makes me pine for when I was younger and spent all that time down the shore.
Yeah.
Like we're in that wheelhouse of time where I'd be down the shore, like for the next like 3-4 weeks.
Sure.
And the weather being better, just that lifestyle was. I just every time I get that salt air in my nostrils, I'm like, God damn it, I want this. I want this every fucking summer.
Yeah.
So, and it's a shame that fucking the market is so unbelievable that there's no way you can't touch a place down there. Like, even rentals are fucking crazy down there right now.
Yeah, I made the mistake of Googling or Zillowing houses in Carpinteria when I was there.
Oh, I'm sure that was
just fucking starting at $3 million for a tiny house.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason it's a secret because they're pricing everyone else out of the fucking place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to have a place that I'd be able to go to. And yeah, you're dealing with the shoebies all summer.
Shoebies?
Shoebies is a term. See, we're learning things today.
Yeah.
We're learning what Okies are, and shoebies are what the locals call everyone who goes down the shore for the summer.
Oh, okay.
Like the people that go back and forth. And fun fact that the etymology. Anyway, that word comes from when the workers would go. They take the train from Philly down to Atlantic City.
Oh.
They take their lunches in shoe boxes.
Oh.
They would call them shoebies. Now,
Interesting.
north of like Atlantic City, Brigantine, like that area, as you get into like North Jersey, they call them bennies up there.
And why bennies?
I somebody explained it to me, and I don't care because fuck those idiots.
Yeah.
Like they insist on calling pork roll Taylor ham.
Oh,
and it's such a dumb argument because I would almost give it to him. Like, yeah, you call brand name shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like you can call it, but understand that it's pork roll. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Like the brand name is Taylor ham. And he even says it on the package.
Right.
So read the fucking box, you goddamn idiots. But they refuse. They absolutely refuse.
Right.
So it's an argument for another time.
Sure.
Which I would be better served if I had somebody from North Jersey that way I can berate them and tell them how stupid they are right to their faces.
Oh, we should start making a segment like that where we just we convince somebody that's either doing something stupid or somebody that we don't like and just berate them for part of the show. Bring them here, sit them down, and just now you're gonna fucking listen to me.
Yeah, well, so to finish that thought, and we can make them go out and clean this up. So remember a couple weeks ago, Bronco Fett, exactly. It's like calling all sodas Coke.
Yeah,
exactly right.
It's better than pop though.
Right. I know what that white shit was from a couple weeks ago.
Refresh my memory.
So remember, I stepped in something.
Oh, out here,
outside the studio.
Yeah.
We're like, what the fuck is that? Because it was like white and
it was like goopy.
It was like marshmallow, but it didn't smell like marshmallow.
I did not jizz outside, by the way.
If it had been jizz, like holy shit, dude! Like go fucking donate to some elephants or something. Because there was that's too much, too much jizz, too much.
My penis so smooth.
All right, so what was it really?
So it's from those evergreens.
Oh,
it's tree sap from those evergreens.
Huh.
And when I was mowing the lawn, I think I mowed it on Thursday night.
Yeah.
We have one tree, like one big tree left in our yard, and it's a evergreen. It's a big pine.
Yeah.
And as I was coming up on the mower, I saw one of those fucking just a big fucking jizz spot on the yard. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I looked up in the tree on the tree bark, I could see it like kind of oozing out of the tree.
Yeah.
So it's basically like it's just sap.
Which is interesting because, we've been here for 10 years now. We've been doing the podcast for 7.
Yeah.
And this is the first time it's been noticed.
We've stepped in it. Yeah. So I don't know if it had something to do with maybe there's a broken branch up there that it was bleeding. I don't know, but it's the exact same stuff. Like I'm poking at it with a stick. I'm like, yeah, it's the same consistency. So
mystery solved.
Exactly, mystery solved.
All right.
So I feel better about it.
Was that tearing you up inside?
Well, when you step in something and you don't know what it is, you kind of want to know. I mean, even if it's something bad, you still want to know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I stepped in shit. Okay, now I have to clean off shit. I get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for my weeks. I had a PowerPoint presentation.
It was very impressive. You put it together in a very short time.
Yeah. Well, and it was bland, but
yeah, didn't have enough time to
no.
Put any flair on it. All right. So before we get into the main topic, I actually have to take a very quick break.
All right.
So we will do that and be right back after this quick word.
37. Do it live. 37 bits. Do it live.
From our sponsors. That fucking screaming goat gets me every single time. And it's not even a screaming goat, it's Dave.
I think, yes, that's what is the worst part, honestly. I'm going to put the link to this. I don't know. As hot as it is, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that this temple, going and seeing this temple, it was and having that kind of like Angkor Wat, like holy shit, this is what Angkor Wat probably looked like when it was new type. It just hit me. I was like, holy fuck. And what's crazy is how many people on this planet are going to be able to have that experience, right? I know of a dozen, me personally know of a dozen people that have made it to Angkor Wat. And that's because of the nature of what we got to do. I was just saying how the perspective that I had for the Angkor Wat comparison to that, this temple in New Jersey, that how many people are going to have that perspective, right?
Not many, because not many
what-
people have probably done both.
We have the dozen or so that did it with us when we were going in and out of Cambodia.
And I'm sure Americans will go every once in a while.
I'm sure. I mean, that they rely on the tourist industry in that
Sure.
in that area. I mean, it's the entire thing is built around it. And I have other pictures of going to other temples, because we went to the Tomb Raider temple, the one for the Angelina Jolie movie.
Oh,
That's the temple that she's running around in. We went to that temple. We went to the one with all the faces, which is really cool, but obviously a different modality for religion.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
all right.
do I have to go? I think I'm all right.
Okay. Then we might as well get back to it. So
Ready, set, go.
And we're back. So, The Acolyte, episode 6. It is titled, what was it again? Teach Corrupt, which is interesting. And so we were talking about this before we went live. After my first viewing of this, which, by the way, I did not get to see until Saturday.
Right.
So thankfully I was able to avoid anything spoilery, but I guess there really wasn't anything you could have spoiled in this one. But either way, like I was telling Dave before we went live, like this episode felt like, after that first viewing, like, you're buck naked, girl's on her knees in front of you, and she goes and tickles the balls a little bit, and then is like, okay, that's it, I'm done. And you're like, no.
Yeah. It seemed really gratuitous to be in that situation. However, I have a theory about that
Okay.
that makes that make more sense.
Okay, sweet.
Because unlike most times where I only watch something once
Mm-hmm.
and come here, I actually watched this 3 times.
Excellent.
So I think I got a better perspective on it this time.
All right, awesome. So yeah, you want to just start getting right into the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Again, it was called Teach and Corrupt.
Yeah, spoiler. We're going to do spoilers straight off the bat. So that's your spoiler alert.
So first of all, I noticed in the in the helmet flashy intro that they do for every Star Wars show that Phasma's helmet was on there, and I'm just sitting there
It's
thinking,
been
like,
there for a minute.
has it?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, why Phasma? You treated that character like such garbage.
You did, but it's fucking shiny.
Yeah, no, she looked great. I had high hopes for her, but like the Knights of Ren and everything else, they just kind of, take a neat looking character and just shit all over him
Yeah.
and kill him off early. But what are
But
you
yeah,
gonna do?
honestly, the helmet thing I've been paying attention to ever since you brought that up to me, and I guess the Mandalorian.
Probably, yeah. And it's cool how they rotate it. Even like within a show, they won't show the same one every single episode.
Right.
So that's cool.
So yeah, now I pay attention to it.
Yeah. Anyway, so when we last left off, Kamir, Darth Smiley, I'm just going to call him Kamir through this episode. He had OSHA, and he knew he had OSHA. She was unconscious. He force healed her, put his coat over her.
Right.
And is like, oh, rest easy. I'm going to rape you now.
Right. Something about sadness.
Yeah. But either way, yeah. So she wakes up in a fucking cave, like a cave room. It's got some stuff in it,
right?
Like a bed and shit like that. So she wakes up, and she walks outside, and all we see is ocean and islands, like big green islands.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, the first place my brain goes to is this Ahch-To? Is this like where
Right.
Luke Island is?
Yeah, exactly. I did the same thing.
Yeah. So, and I already have a theory about that.
Okay.
So let's say Octu is where the first Jedi temple was. Then it probably means somewhere else on this planet is probably where the first rogue Jedis were kind of meeting in secret. So, maybe that's what this island is.
That's a great theory.
Yeah. So
I like that. I like that theory.
yeah, but even if that is true, I don't think that they're going to get into it in this show. She looks over and she sees these fucking little like bird chicks, but they look like fucking Max Rebo. They look like miniature Max Rebos.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, this isn't like the baby Max Rebo, is it?
No, well, they're not blue enough.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's true.
Like he was blue.
Yeah, but they had like the same kind of face and
Right.
snout.
And it kind of froze when she walked up on him.
Yeah.
Oh God! If we don't move, she won't see us. All right, now we can move.
Yeah.
But this is one of the things. Again, the benefit of watching it multiple times, right? This gave it like, what are the things that make it feel like Star Wars? Like this was one of those things that kind of made it feel like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because here's your little gratuitous. Here's your little creature.
Mm-hmm.
That you,
Oh yeah, because they always got to make new cute stuff, like the fucking man dog that was sniffing around all episode. Like I think their intention was for him to be like the cute thing in the series, like the Grogu of the series. But
no, the you're talking about the sniffer.
Yeah,
The sniffer?
yeah.
I don't think he's like a humanoid. Like he's sentient. He's not a
Yeah.
pet. So I really think that he's there for whatever level of sentience he has. He doesn't. He's not able to communicate directly, like, through language.
Yeah.
So, but he wants to get to whoever that, hey, these aren't the people you think they are.
Right.
Right. So he's trying really hard to do that. And then, he's still on the ship when, spoiler alert, when Saul's fucking like, we're going to go ahead and shut off everything and fucking
Yeah.
just, and we're going to ghost everyone.
Yeah. And ultimately, the fucking dog ended up not being relevant at all in this episode. He's sneaking around. He's being suspicious. And
Yeah.
Well, except for one scene. Yeah. Which we're going to talk a lot about that scene. So yeah, she's still looking around. She's like walking on the beach and fucking trying to figure out where the hell she is. And then she sees fucking Kamir just casually walking down the beach.
Just so happens to be walking there.
Yeah. Obviously not an accident.
Nope, it's definitely not a setup. Not at all.
Yep.
Knew you weren't gonna come down here so you could see like, oh, there's my escape vessel. How am I gonna get to that? Oh, there's the dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get him. All right, and here's the knife.
Yep.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh yeah, because when she was in the cave, she saw May's old outfit with the dark kind of leathery outfit with her fucking knives,
which
and
obviously you have to put on because reasons.
Right. So yeah, after she starts following him, we go back to Kofar where Saul is taking off and he's like trying to send a transmission with interference. And throughout this whole thing, again, I'm sitting here thinking it's May because she's on the ship being all shady. She fucked up the transmission. When they lose power later, like she was the one that cut the power. But after watching it a couple times, I'm like, no, I don't think she did.
No, I think it was fucking
Saul.
No, I think it was Trapper Boy.
Oh.
I think he was trying to I need some distraction to get them to come investigate this one way or the other. So either Saul's going to come back here and I can be like, yo, she's not who you think it is. Somehow.
Okay.
Through the pip droid or whatever. Or she's going to come back there and he's going to hump her leg and fucking,
Yeah.
Tell me that didn't look like he was humping her leg.
Oh, God, yes.
Just,
oh, yeah. Well, yeah, again, we're going to talk about that scene. He never mentions, so as he's trying to send this message out, he never says that we were attacked by a dark Jedi, a Sith, anything. He just says, my whole team is dead, and that's pretty much the only transmission he could get out. So this is another potential explanation for how, some of the major Jedi of this era don't know that there was a potential Sith.
Yeah, I have, as we get on with this, I have ongoing theories about why he's being so deliberate with his lack of overtness.
Okay, well, I'm very curious to hear that theory. while May's walking through the ship, because apparently this is the same ship that they did the tests on the two twins when they were
Right.
little girls. Because she's having these like vocal flashbacks where you hear like first, I think it was some female was explaining
it was,
the test.
Trinity.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was Trinity's voice.
Yep. Okay. I knew I recognized it. I'm like, no, I don't think that was Venestra. And then you hear Saul like kind of very anxiously saying, I need to contact Master Venestra immediately or something like that. So you can tell that they found something while doing these tests that,
Well, that's interesting. It's interesting that that's what I thought, that she was having that flashback, and his voice kind of cut into that because he was in the cockpit trying to establish comms. That's how I took that.
Maybe, okay. Maybe that was an intentional, not sure.
I feel like she was like kind of in the moment, and then his voice kind of broke that up because he was trying to establish comms.
Okay, yeah, because she did walk in after that to still try to send the message. Okay, that's fine. Man,
like I said, that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, that blows the theory I had though. And like May, she was like ready to kill Saul. He's like trying to send the transmission.
Yeah.
She pulls out her fucking knife. She's walking behind him really slow, and then that's when the fucking power went out, I think. And then he turns around and she's like, "Whoop."
No, it's the transmission is all wonky, and he's basically like, I'm gonna reset the transmitter, take the wheel.
Right.
And she's like, okay.
Yeah, and at this point you realize he really doesn't know that that's May, which you don't think
yet.
So?
Not yet.
Well, I thought he knew it was May before they even left the fucking planet at the end of the last episode. Just kind of the way he reacted to her was a little off.
I think so. I think the problem with the Soul character right now is that I think there's a little bit of overacting that's kind of inhibiting what they're trying to give us as part of that part of the character.
Yeah.
What my belief is, he's at a point, like he's in the cockpit, he's trying to fucking tell somebody like everyone's dead. He's very like, he went to the dark side. Like he was going to eliminate the Sith.
Khmer.
Yeah. He was going to eliminate him, but it was stopped by his former Padawan, right, in Osha. And I think he was so shaken by that he was willing to go there, that he still wasn't quite, really wasn't, he was kind of on autopilot, right? He's like, I need to establish comms. It wasn't really being ahead of the aircraft.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
He was just being very reactionary. And he ends up, when he goes down to reset the transponder, and he kind of has that moment where he slams his fist into the deck.
Because he was like super upset. I'm assuming that was because all the people died.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, wait a minute, not everything is lining up. Like I think it's in that moment where he finally like stops and kind of takes a breath.
Yeah.
And realizes that everything is like, if this was a book, right? I thought of it this way. If we're reading this in a book, Soul would have, been angry and then suddenly realized that he was just being overcome, and then centered himself in the Force, and then realized that something is not right.
Yeah.
But he wasn't 100% sure what it was. So that kind of leads you to some of the other stuff that's happening, like the awkward hug that happens in a minute and everything else.
Yeah, he walks into the cockpit and just kind of grabs her.
Right. I think all of that was calculated. I think from the story perspective, I think all of it was calculated. Each thing that happens, like the awkward hug, the scene in the bunk room, I think that was a bunk room.
Yeah. Where the dog attacked her and
no. When he calls her and she comes out of that.
Okay.
After the dog attack.
Okay, gotcha.
And the fucking.
Don't get too far ahead. We got to talk about this.
So, I think all of those things that Saul was doing were deliberate in testing. He was testing
Oh.
her to like, okay, how can I do this in such a way that without just coming out and say like, wait, I don't think you're who you are.
Right. So you think he was suspicious at this point, but didn't know?
Right. He didn't know for sure
Okay.
yet.
All right.
But then as he got further along and she's asking questions like, did you really tell us, did you tell me everything?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not a little girl now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So I think he was just testing her to support whether or not it's like, okay, this is probably not OSHA.
Yeah.
What do I do next?
Mhm.
And then, power comes back on and she makes a decision for him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I wrote Soul gets emotional. He like fucking slams his hand down
Yep.
on like that desk or whatever. So yeah, that's not very Jedi of him. And then yeah, that kind of revelation moment. We go back to Osha and Kamir. Now Kamir is going to like this little hot spring, and completely strips down. This is while Osha is still like secretly following him, or so she thinks. So he like goes down to bare ass and gets in this thing. He's just kind of floating around,
Right.
and she's ready to kill, and then she sees his fucking lightsaber sitting there. She grabs that, and as soon as she grabs it, he goes, "How does it feel?" So he knew she was there the whole time.
Yep. The whole thing was by getting naked, right? As gratuitous as it seemed, by getting naked, you're like completely. This is, as he says it. One thing I think the show is doing well is it's telling you why things are happening, but not in such an overt way that it's like it's off-putting. But it's really like, hey, I'm completely naked, so I am there's nothing I can do offensively.
Right.
I am completely, at your mercy.
And he intentionally puts himself in that situation again later.
Right.
So yeah, and then like he's such a fucking smooth talker too, and the difference between that, like the way he was talking to her through most of this episode, and something like Palpatine was, you could just tell Palpatine was just kind of over the top,
Right.
just, pretty.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
Yeah. And like he is just like fucking cool and collected, and you feel like he's being more honest about everything. Whereas Palpatine, he's master manipulator, but
Right.
like I think Kamir's intentions are fairly honest up to this point. He just wants the Padawan.
Right. I think his, I guess honest is the correct word for what it is. I mean, whatever his final intentions are, who knows? But as we come to find out later, there still has to be some reason, right? There still has to be some reason.
Oh yeah, and I think
on the other
ultimately,
side
like
is-
they're going to try to find his master and
right,
kill them.
but we know who the master is.
Venestra?
Yeah.
Oh no, the Zabrak mom. That's my theory anyway.
Oh, you mean the Sith master?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kamir's master.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, no, he's like smooth talking to her this whole time. He's like, again, very calm, collected, just being honest, and he's like getting into her head because he's like, your anger betrays you, and he's kind of like asking her, like, doesn't it feel good to wield a weapon again? Doesn't it feel good to kind of?
Yeah. Well, and he says too, there's a lot in this monologue, in the several monologues that he gives, that tells us a lot about the state of the Jedi Order as it stands in that time.
Yeah.
Where he says, "Oh, I'm sure you didn't take, your weapon once you left the Jedi."
Yeah.
And even Saul says it. You wield the weapon of a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Like this is ours. This is our tech.
Right.
Lightsabers are only for Jedi.
And in a monologue later, he says it again when he's talking about what the Jedi say, because there's a moment where she's asking him like, "Hey, did this spiel work on my sister?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I made a mistake with your sister.
Yeah.
I thought she wanted what I want."
And then she's like, "Well, what is that?" And he goes, The power of two.
The power of two.
Yeah.
So, which to me, I think is a fairly significant revelation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Captain Obvious here, but
But
that
yeah, it's them giving us a little bit more, and now
Right.
we can start putting it together more.
so he's Bane in this situation. Now, this is Dave's opinion, right? Whereas you think, as your theory goes with him having a master, he has to account for.
Yeah.
I think he's more in this Bane ilk, where he is basically a Sith who's looking for a Padawan so that he can continue the lineage.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
So you think he's already killed his master at this point?
No, well, I think when he turned, well, I mean, there's a lot of speculation here, right?
Right.
But,
Well, and I'll tell you too, because I kind of have a theory about this, especially when he was going on about the power of two, and then later he mentions that he lost everything, like he was cast out.
Right.
Now, spoiler alert, he mentioned he was a Jedi before, but
right.
I'm almost thinking, was it his Sith master who fucking
No.
kicked him off? You don't think so?
No, because and I say this because, all right, just the simplicity of the story they're telling, right? We can twist this into whatever fabric of Star Wars that we can, right? Because we have the benefit of piles and piles of the
sacred Jedi
texts.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I think we got a scar on this dude's back that's obviously from a whip.
Yeah.
Right. And then later on, we have a lightsaber that's a whip.
Wow. So you think it is her?
I think she was his master.
Or do you think his Jedi master?
That was his Jedi master.
Okay, that I totally get. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Why the fuck she would do that to him?
Right. Why? What happened?
Yeah.
Like why did he end up leaving the order, and why Venestra knows something's up.
Yeah, because she's not telling anybody, like these clowns that she brought with her.
Right. It's a shame you didn't watch the Bourne movies, but this has all of the elements of like this CIA kind of cover up thing.
Yeah.
Where you have operatives that have like either gone rogue, or now you're like losing control of these lies that have been told, and now it's starting to get big to a point where your superiors are going to find out. So now you're going to go into the field to try and control this.
Yeah.
And you don't go in the field, you get sick, you get air sick.
Oh my God, we got to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Like
she's like, I don't get sick. I find it unsettling.
So unfortunately, you've never watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but
I mean, I've seen parts of it.
Have you seen the one where Dee, the girl, tries to do stand-up comedy?
No.
Okay, because her big thing is when she gets on stage, she like starts dry heaving, like. So hey guys, what's with all these wireless headset everybody's wearing? So I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, so hyperspace makes her nauseous, which of course she tried to play off as no, it's unsettling. But I could like later on, she's like, let's get back to the ship, or more likely it was like, let's get back to the ship. Let's get and jump into hyperspace.
I got to take my Dramamine and get on the ship. But yeah, get back to like this kind of like CIA cover up gone bad. Everything's gone completely sideways.
Yeah.
To the point now where Soul is like, fuck, I can't be a part of this. Like, it's been 16 years of playing this game of cover up.
Yeah.
And I have to, he says it, right? He says it to May.
Mm-hmm.
I have to come clean to the High Council.
Yes. And that's when she asked like about what really happened on Kofar too.
Right. Are you really telling me what, have you really told me everything that happened?
Yeah.
And you were so young. And then she's like, well, I'm not anymore. And then it kind of, the power comes on, and then she goes to be like, she hears the comms. She goes to fucking, for whatever reason, she decides she's going to go
like send a
use the
transmission.
comm.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was curious about. Like, who was she gonna try to call? Like, was she gonna call the Jedi Council, or was she?
Well,
Gonna...
whoever was like on the line, who was like, I'm May or OSHA, or she never got that out. It was
Yeah, he fucking shot her in the back with the stun gun.
right. He's like, oh May, like, because at that point he knew, like he had it figured out that it wasn't OSHA.
Yep. All right, let me get back to my notes real quick.
Yes.
Yeah,
We've jumped around a little bit.
Yeah. So Vanestra forms her rescue team, and that's when we get that line. Kamir, and OSHA are now walking down the beach, and he told her that he was a Jedi before, and she was like, "I'd never heard of you," and he said it was a really long time ago. So that had me thinking: is he fucking Plagueis? Is he like, trying to play the live forever game?
I mean, he could heal.
Yeah.
Right. He knows the power to heal.
Yeah, because I mean, the guy looks fairly young.
Right.
Looks like he's probably late 20s, early 30s. And you would think that because it was 16 years ago when fucking OSHA went through her own training, that she would have heard, or at least have known, the guy who was probably pretty close to her age too.
No, not necessarily. I mean, how Dave writes that off is you have a member of the High Council that's trying to keep all this under wraps.
Yeah.
Right. However, whatever happened, right, it all comes down to fucking Greenface.
Yeah.
Right. And dude, I can't get over sometimes how much it plays out like a crime drama, like a Bourne thing. Because when she says, "Hey, when the kid's like, oh, we got a transmission from, Master Soul,
yeah,
and casualties, blah blah blah." She's like, rescue team, and it's like, can you get hold of them? She's like, no. He's like, okay, we need people to go immediately to Kofar.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, how'd you know where they are? And she's like, I sent them there.
Yeah.
Right. It just had this like very, like, I am the ringleader of this. I am the deputy director of operations for the fucking CIA, and I am fucked right now because everything is sideways. So I need to go out there myself and get hold of this.
Okay, so this new theory just popped into my head. What if Vanestra is in charge of a like a CIA type group, where if they ever detect anybody that's like going to the dark side or has gone to the dark side, they eliminate them?
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I think I feel like they've established in this like age of the Jedi, though, that they've already got the Gestapo tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
They would just kill them anyway.
Yeah, and maybe that's what the whole Kofar was about. Finish off the witches, take one as your apprentice for some reason.
Yeah, or maybe it started. It could be anything. Like, it could have started out so innocently as like, hey, these Force user children, we need to eliminate this threat, this dark magic.
Mm-hmm.
But these children with Force ability, let's make them Jedi to kind of smooth it over.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to eliminate all of them. You're going to commit genocide here. We're going to sprinkle some crack on them and get the fuck out of here. And then, and we'll take the girls because, well, at least we didn't kill the only 2 children that were there, right? So we'll save them.
Well, I almost kind of feel like, when he kept swearing up and down, oh, I saw her die, like maybe he actually tried to kill her. Maybe she's hanging off on the fucking ledge and he's like, nah, you're too dark.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole fucking situation, it becomes really interesting. It's a really interesting mystery to solve.
And yeah, it's been like, I don't know about you, but it's been killing me to not know exactly what happened. I'm like, just tell us what really happened. But that's got to be like the crux of the whole fucking show.
What's bothering me right now is like, we just had episode 6 and there's only 2 episodes left.
Yes.
And it seems like it'd be really tough to tie tie this whole thing up into episodes.
I was actually thinking that as I was watching this episode.
Like, we're running out of time.
Yeah, and all we really did in this episode was a lot of talking. Which, again, I enjoyed the episode, but...
I think there was bigger revelations here. Like, what we got last episode was a lot of, like, okay, here's the fighting.
Yeah, and death.
Like play the fight riff.
Right.
We got that.
Yeah.
This episode was Revelations.
Yeah,
it should have been called Revelations, not
right.
those other fucking
Because,
things.
yeah, it's almost like the cool down episode, right? Because you don't want, like, just all action all the time, back to back. So this is like, you know, the aftermath, essentially, of the last episode.
Yeah.
You know, people dealing with shit.
And revealing that the rule of two exists.
Yep.
That this Sith, air quote, is looking for a Padawan so that he can be in compliance with his rule of two.
Yeah.
In the style of Bane. And that fact that his Jedi master was Fenestra.
Okay. So
I think those were big reveals.
So you don't think he has a Sith master at all, or never did?
I don't know if he never did. I don't have an opinion one way or the other yet.
Because, yeah, if he's part of this actual lineage that started with Darth Bane and it's just the rule of two for the next 1,000 years.
But how did Bane, like, think about how Bane came into it.
Yeah, he fucking killed everybody.
Right. Well, I mean, but he started from nothing. He didn't have
Right, he was a minor.
master. So the same situation could happen here, where he's a fallen Jedi. He knows about the Sith, right? But he probably knows enough to go find some sacred texts,
Yeah.
and really start studying and understanding and using the dark side,
Right.
and is doing it long enough where he's like, okay, I'm ready to go find a Padawan and fucking kick this off.
So you're saying that you think that the line of Sith was broken at some
Yes.
point between Bane and Palpatine?
Yes, I think the establishment of the Jedi as this police force that has been at peace for so long effectively establishes that the Sith line was broken, and that this guy, after being so forcibly removed from the fucking Jedi Order to the point where his Jedi Master fucking whipped him.
Yeah.
He's the catalyst. Now, how that falls into the future, who knows? But that's where I'm going with right now.
Okay.
That's where I'm going with, and that's why I think we're running out of time.
Right. Well, next episode, obviously, based on the way this one ended, is going to be the revelation of what actually happened when the girls.
It's got to be like, yeah, Soul saying like, "You're going to listen to what I have to say." I'm like, all right, this is where you're going to listen to some acting classes because, man, you're killing me here.
Yeah.
Soul.
Well, again, that's the drawback of hiring somebody who doesn't fucking speak English. You know, sure, he took a crash course in the language, but he doesn't know how to act in that.
Oh, I didn't
language.
know that. I didn't know he didn't know how to speak English.
I feel like we talked about this before.
We might have.
Yeah, no.
I also sent several emails to important people that I don't remember sending. So we established this early, Jason.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, he does not, or when he was hired, he did not speak English at all. And you know, after he got the role, he made a point to like do a crash course in English so he could actually, you know, act in the scenes.
Right.
But that being the case, you know, he clearly doesn't have enough of a grasp of the language to like be able to emote properly with the words and everything.
Because even if you dub it, you still want to have the
Yeah. So that's my explanation for that, but who knows? So okay, can we get back to my notes? Because
Yes.
we're jumping all over the fucking place. At one point, we go back to the ship where May is, and this is the scene that we had kind of alluded to. She finds the head of Pip that fucking dog boy put down.
right.
And this starts this
Putting
whole
his charging cradle.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
And this starts this whole fucking scene where she activates him and he's like flipping out, like, who the fuck are you? And then fucking dog boy comes in and he starts, you know, humping her leg. And then the Pip boy fucking jizzes right in her face. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Did they really just do that? Obviously, yes, it's a little droid, but the symbology or whatever is there. Like her getting fucking jizzed in the face and going, ah.
And the scream was almost like she wasn't expecting it for reals, yo.
Right.
Like the level, maybe the volume or intensity.
Yeah.
Penis so smooth.
Maybe she wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. But no, you're like, he clearly just jizzed right on her face.
Oh my God. I watched it 3 times and I don't remember
What?
that coming from him. I thought he cut like a line in the ship and that line leaked on her.
I thought it came from the pip, but now I'd have to go back and rewatch it.
I mean, keep talking.
Oh, you're gonna find it on D+.
I am.
So yeah, and I've got in big bold letters here. He jizzes on her face.
Take that, bitch. Oh.
Yeah. We had a good conversation between Kamir and Osha where he basically is telling her that because she mentions like, oh, my powers have faded, over the years. If you don't use them, you lose them essentially.
Right.
And he's like, that's what the Jedi told you.
Right.
Like
that is. Yeah, he's basically telling her like they're full of shit.
Yeah, and honestly, when he says that, I'm like, fuck. I mean, that's true. Like, what else are they, forcing people to believe about the Force that maybe isn't exactly true?
Dude, I think the Jedi's entire existence is them issuing their own propaganda. Case in point, I'll get to that scene here in a second. But case in point, the conversation that Venestra Valdostra, that's a town in Florida.
Sure.
Venestra is having with the senator.
Right. Oh yeah, because they're talking about like an external review of the Jedi Order.
Which to me, again, it's like, hey, we're going to be looking at the CIA's operations in fucking Kofar.
Yeah.
Because something happened there and Congress wants to get somebody on it.
Yeah.
And she's like, that dude doesn't like us. And homeboy's like, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Well, so she's worried about that because they're probably sniffing out something that she's trying to keep hidden.
Right.
So she's worried about that.
So the plot thickens.
Right. Like I said, her whole operation has gone sideways, and she's in damage control mode right now.
Yeah,
to the point where she's getting on starships that she doesn't want to.
Now, and see, that's another thing because I guess she's been in some of the High Republic canon that they put out there, but obviously I haven't paid any attention.
Right.
So, like, I have no idea if she's always been this kind of shady of a person. Because apparently she was a fan favorite somewhere. And yeah, I'm like, well, if she's like such a fan favorite and she's all good and everything, why now all of a sudden is she doing these basic CIA operations?
Right. Hey, fuck up the buck up. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. This is the wrong part of the scene. I'm still trying to find the jizz in the face scene.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna the jizz in the face, just for context, happens right after Kamir and Osha are walking on the beach and he reveals he was a previous Jedi. So anyway,
all right, she picks up Pip. She already reprogrammed him at that point.
Yeah, she's got to reset him to factory settings.
Right after she got jizz in the face.
No, that was before. I think. No, it was after. Yeah.
She takes him out of his charging cradle, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, we're just gonna old school fucking clink charging cable.
Yep.
Like, oh, it's a 30 pin. God damn it. Nobody makes 30 pins anymore.
Yeah, that's true. So did you find it?
Yeah, it's all right. It steps on her foot. He's got the flashlight and Pip. Yeah, it definitely is coming from the wall.
Oh, okay.
Because he's in the charging cradle still, and it's like there's a sprayer of oil for some reason, like right at her eye level. So yeah, it comes out of the wall, jizzes in her face.
Okay,
but Pip does it.
Oh, Pip's the one that cut the thing?
No, Pip's the one that activates that.
Okay, so he did still kind of jizz in her face.
Yeah.
So
like
all right,
he might have been visualizing it.
Right.
Like.
Like, oh yeah, this is gonna be hot.
I'm gonna come on her tits right now.
Oh, I missed. Got her in the face. Sort of like the what was I gonna say? Fuck. Hold on.
Valdosta, Georgia. That's there you go. I knew there's a Valdosta somewhere.
Yeah. Moody Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come to me later. So
My penis is so smooth.
and Kamira and Osha are talking about like, there's something that lies under the surface that he says is anger, fear, loss, desire.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, that's the path to the dark side. And he's like,
Semantics. Best line in the fucking show.
Yeah.
Semantics. Which, for those of us who are more and more looking at the Jedi going like, your way sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you're preaching, like, it's, God, there's such an analogy for real life, like current day. But you're preaching all this goodness and peace, but that's not what you're practicing.
Right.
Like, how you enforce this and the way you're going about existence and ruling over people is really heavy-handed, and you are the Gestapo.
Oh yeah.
And they're giving us more and more of that.
Mm-hmm.
That, the Jedi suck.
Yeah.
And so not only did they suck in Yoda when Yoda was the big boss, right? Which we don't know who the big boss is right now,
right?
Like, in this time frame, but we know that Yoda exists,
yeah,
because Yoda's in the High Republic stuff. So Yoda is in this time frame as being a part of it.
What would be crazy is if he's still the head of the council in this,
the Grand Poobah.
Yeah, because you think about it, 1,000 years of rule. No. Sorry, this was hundreds of years of rule before Palpatine shows up. So maybe it was Yoda who was the incompetent.
Well, I feel like the way the council was set up, it was later that Yoda was actually like, there was a point where Yoda was like the Grand Master, and then they eliminated that position and put everybody on the same level. I think that happened at some point in the canon.
Okay. I
think. Chat can help me out with that one.
Yeah.
There's smarter Star Wars people in this group than I.
Yeah. So, and he's talking to her. Oh no, that's when she's like, "Well, you murdered all my friends," and she starts with fucking homeboy with the weird hair.
Right. Like he was gonna kill me.
Yeah. He was about to turn you over despite you not doing anything wrong.
So I fucking broke his neck.
Yeah. And then
my bare hands.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Well, Jackie," and she's like, and he goes, "Well, where did you think that was really gonna go?" Basically revealing that she did have romantic feelings for Jackie.
Yeah, implying that there was some sort of like beyond, it was more than just a like, hey, you're a Jedi, I was a Jedi too, like let's be friends.
No,
like,
it's you got a pair of scissors over there, because I know where we can find a pair of scissors. Oh, speaking of which, I remembered what I was going to say earlier when she jizzed in her eye. He was probably trying to do the angry pirate on her.
Oh, the angry pirate.
It's where you come in her eye, and then you kick her in the leg, and then she's walking around like, "Arr!" What about Houdini? You ever done Houdini?
No.
Good one, Houdini. So but you need your friend, though, because you're fucking her from behind. And oh, no, that's not the Houdini. That's the poltergeist. We'll talk about Houdini in a second. You're fucking her from behind. This is the poltergeist now. And at some point you sneak out and your friend takes your place, and then you walk outside and wave at her through the window. You're like, "I'm here." No, but Houdini is, again, you're fucking her from behind, and then just before you come, you spit on her back so she thinks you came, and then when she looks over, you really get her in the face. And then you go, "Ta-da!"
Oh my God, we're learning so many things today.
All right. Anyway, back to the show. Yeah. So he says to her, like, "Where did you think that was going to go? Because you pick people to love who don't love you back, and you pick people who can't go all the way.
Right? Why do you pick relationships that can't possibly go anywhere?
Yeah." And are one-sided, he mentioned too, which is like, oof, man.
And implying too this relationship with Soul as her master, that it was for her. Like, again, this is Dave's interpretation. Like, he's implying her feelings for Soul is like more of a father figure
Sure.
than, or a rapey uncle. I mean, one or the other.
Okay, Osha, now's the time when I stick my finger in your butthole.
Yes, we're gonna talk about what kind of panties you're wearing. No, so Soul's either the rapey uncle or as the father figure, because she's taken from her family basically,
Right.
and now is being raised by the Jedi, so she needed some father figure, and establish that relationship with Soul. And then when she leaves the order, or is forced to leave the order, because as we get here in a second, talk about her failure and why she felt like she had to leave because of the failure.
Yeah.
I just thought of something else while I was saying that.
It's just a constant train of thought.
Well, it's just like another theory opens up as to why was she getting too close to something, and that's why she, like, here's this impossible task. It's going to force you to fail as a Jedi, and you're gonna beat feet.
And you know what? And that I actually had that exact same theory. When they're having this back and forth between her and Kamir again, where she's got the lightsaber kind of on the balcony overlooking the ocean, and again he's got it to her, or he's got the lightsaber. He's pushing it up to himself, and he's like, "Ignite it, ignite it."
You were here, yeah. Hey, you were here to do something.
Yeah,
right. You stayed here to do something, so do it.
Yeah,
so fucking do it. Which also tells me that Kamir had control over the situation the entire time.
Oh yeah, no, he was totally confident in what was going on.
Right, he knew that he could handle whatever was happening.
Yeah,
and in those moments.
Yeah,
which in this moment when he breaks her to like get angry to the point where she ignites the lightsaber.
Yeah.
What a great fucking lightsaber. Like, that is a lightsaber that is going to be in a lot of collections.
Oh God, yes.
Because even the fucking ignition and the sound, because it has almost like it's a little bit raspier than this.
Yeah.
Than Kylo Ren's. Like, Kylo Ren's is like, sounds like it's going to fly apart.
Yeah.
Like the blade's going to fly apart when it's ignited.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas his it's almost there, like the same frequency, but it's under more control.
Okay.
It was very, very, like, I rewound that scene several times to listen to the lightsaber ignite, because I was like, wow, that is very, like, it's almost out of control, like Kylo Ren's was, but it's not.
I totally get that, and that makes a lot of sense. Now I got to go back and look at it closer again. But this was the conversation where, when he finally got her to ignite the saber, was he got her to admit that she failed at her Jedi training, and that's why she's not anymore. And that made me think pretty much the same thing you did. Like, did they sense what was going on with her? Did she have some real dark side tendencies? So they set her up to fail. They gave her a task that they knew she couldn't do, or whatever.
Yeah, it honestly, if you have somebody that's already feels like they are trying so hard to prove something, and then something goes horribly wrong, and you make them to blame because, again, maybe they're getting too close to something. They're like, hey, we need your girl, like going to Soul and going like, we need your girl to kind of we need her to go away.
Yeah.
We need her to not be up in this chili anymore. So either you need to make her go away, or you need to encourage her to leave. So pick your poison.
Right.
And I don't think he was. I don't think he had the stomach to kill her.
Brace yourself. You might get some blowback. Ugh.
Did you get it?
No. Well, I got a direct fucking hit, but it's still going.
Love the assault gun, but sometimes it just needs a little bit more. Like it's not. The velocity of the air is kind of pushing your target away before the salt hits it sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. So anyway, let's keep moving.
I may or may not have done deep aerodynamic analysis into why the assault gun's not working.
So we already talked about when Saul stuns May.
Right.
And then we already talked about Vernestra arriving on Kofar. I did like that moment where, you know, she's kind of like sensing, she's getting a feeling of what happened there. You can hear the lightsabers clashing and stuff. And when this guy, who I'm assuming is her Padawan that came up that helped her put the team together, you know, she uses that as a teaching moment.
I don't think he's a Padawan. I don't think he's a Padawan.
Okay.
He may have been her student at some point, but I think he's just
a regular Jedi.
Yeah, he's just a worker bee.
Yeah, but either way, you know, she did use this as a teaching moment. She's like, well, what do you see? What do you feel? You know,
right.
And, you know, that just reminds me of the military, you know,
Yeah.
like if something goes wrong, but it's not like a bad, super bad thing,
Right.
you know, normally the instructor that's there with you is, you know, this is a learning experience.
Yeah.
How would you fix this?
I'm going to let you fail to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to pull this back.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to learn from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and here's the other, when we get the reveal of her lightsaber, right?
Which, thank God she was there to kill that bug with that cool looking lightsaber.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Tell me tell me a sequence where anybody but somebody who's called a master has actually been like on the ball with their lightsaber. Like had it ready to go to fucking defend or attack or anything else.
Maybe Anakin?
No. I'm talking about in this.
In this?
In the Acolyte.
Oh, no. Because they have no practice.
Right. They have there's no, like, even like you talked about it with fucking what's his nuts? The fucking kid that got his neck broken.
Yor. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm supposed to keep track of these fucking names.
Yeah.
But the even with him being like, oh, he's a Jedi Knight, but he's like, oh my God, like you mentioned it, he's not fighting in any of the styles that we would expect. Like their situational awareness and their ability to use the Force to fucking as Jedi to use their lightsabers as weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They're showpieces. Like these lightsabers are for practice and they're for show. They're like,
yeah, at this point in the Republic, yeah.
There's like there was a point in time that armed police forces, like there was a time in the 80s, in the late, I think it was the late 80s, where they were trying to disarm a lot of police forces.
Right.
Federally, I know they were trying to do it with the customs guys.
Oh,
they were trying to, because I remember my dad, like this is one of those memories I had. I think I talked about it in the in his eulogy. My dad's eulogy was the being on the picket line outside the customs house.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that they were striking about was because they were going to take their ability to defend themselves away.
Yeah.
And ultimately they won on that aspect.
Yeah.
But when they were trying to, basically you had a lot of peace officers that are Barney Fifing it, and they're wearing this weapon just as a showpiece.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you've got with a lot. If you're not a Jedi Master, right, you're holding a Jedi and you can do the basics, but you're not going to wield it in the same way. Like the fact that Homegirl stood up so well to this to Yaris, no, not Yor, the fucking Sith.
Oh, you talking Jecki?
Jecki fought when she was fighting with Soul,
yeah,
and against the Sith.
Yeah,
whatever his name is,
Kamir. We'll just refer to him as Kamir until they tell us he's Darth Plagueis.
Right. So, she obviously was. She always took her shit really seriously, and we kind of got a vision of that when they were in the training room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's on individuals to like take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Which is probably how Yaris was when he was a Padawan. He was probably like, "Hey, if I have this thing, I want to know how to fucking use it, right?"
Yeah.
So maybe he got too big for his britches and got beat for it. But regardless, when I see her, we're talking about the scene where she takes out the lightsaber and she kills the bug.
Yeah.
He was so not ready to fucking do anything about that bug.
Oh, that is true.
Like he was like, I'm talking, and like he had no situation awareness, no idea what was going on in the Force.
Yeah.
Like here's a Jedi Knight that's standing there fucking oblivious to what's going on around him in the Force. And I think what they're telling us in this story is they're telling us that these Jedi are shells of what these masters are. And the games that we're seeing being played are, hey, we don't want our knights. Here's the Jedi Masters, right?
Mm.
We don't want our knights to fucking get too full of themselves and realize, like, man,
We're the shit, man.
we're not. We should be, we're too much like the Gestapo here. We should be like Qui-Gon, right? We should be helping people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We should be out helping people and doing things. We're finding people that are using the Force illegally,
Right.
and taking their ability away to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we shouldn't be doing that. And we're like, well, you know what? You're thinking too much. We're gonna do something about that.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fucking flying rubber dog shit, at Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a long way to say that the reveal of her using the lightsaber, to show us the whip. Again, I have no doubt in my mind that she's the one who made the mark on fucking Yaris's back.
Yeah, like I never put those two together, but after you mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes fucking perfect sense.
And that's why there's that reveal. And I, we talked about it last week, and I'm not paying attention to what the fucking people are saying. Like I saw some things of like talking about how people are upset about the lightsaber being able to do that or whatever.
I don't care.
Like
Yeah.
energy field containment we already know that the fucking science isn't supported. Like this is Star Wars physics. Get over it.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine for it for the purposes of this story.
Yeah. I'm more angry about, dropping bombs in space, but
Right.
that's just me.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But so we get that, and I think at the same time we also see how fucking inept really the Mark I standard fucking special police Barney Fife Jedi is.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid even looks like Barney Fife. I mean, he's got a
Yeah,
weird fucking overbite.
He is kind of goofy. Yeah.
It's just like, okay. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, just moving on with the notes, just making sure there wasn't anything that I didn't talk about already. Yeah, she did mention the scar. Like she noticed it a couple of times and she asked him about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, someone who threw me away when, she asked him like, who gave you that?
Right.
Yeah. So,
And then she was like, your master, your Jedi master.
yeah. And then he just didn't say anything.
Didn't say anything.
Which again, I just saw your thing, which again just really makes me think that you might be right about Vernestra being like his former master. So, yeah, we'll have to dig deep into that. But first, Dave has to pee.
Dave has to pee.
So we're going to take another quick break and be right back after this quick word.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Do it live.
From our sponsors. All right, let me see if there's anything in the chat that I may have missed. Again, sorry we had to go early and not give anybody much notice. Shit's happening, but I think we have agreed that we are going to start at 5 p.m. Eastern as our regular start time, because it does make a lot of sense, because it works out so much better for me to go earlier, because I still have shit I have to do after the podcast, getting stuff ready for work the next day, and just, yeah. So, all right, what's Eiffel Tower? What was that in reference to? Yeah, what is this? So Big Lovin' is apparently playing video games on Twitch right now instead of watching the pod. Well, no, he could be doing both. technically he could have the audio of the pod up and then like his Twitch thing. I don't know. It's just a theory, which is pretty much all we have in this Acolyte show so far is theories. Theories. I want some truths now. Please tell us what happened. What? Oh, you just feel better? All right. This coming from the guy who made me turn it down before. Well, make up your mind, Dave.
That was 2 hours ago.
Your mom was 2 hours ago.
You hear that?
A little bit, but I don't think you can catch it on the audio. If you guys hear the sound of a fan in the background, let us know. All right, so I'm ready. So just and we're back. So, as we're sitting there watching the 30-second countdown, I'm sitting here thinking, like, I wonder who composed that. Because that guy's shit is everywhere now. Because, like, all the fucking YouTubers and podcasters use fucking StreamYard now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you kind of wonder, like...
Somebody gave up that intellectual property long ago.
Yeah. But, you know, maybe one day he's just sitting there watching a new YouTube channel, and then he hears his beat come on. Dun, 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 dun.
Like, hey, I made that.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the show, which we're almost actually kind of done.
That's what I figured. I figured we're getting to the point where we're going to do wrap-ups.
Yeah, because we skipped around so much. Okay, I talked about that theory. Talked about Vanestra arriving on Kofar. Yeah, so then after Saul stuns May, she wakes up fucking chained to a bed. Apparently
Right.
Saul's got a thing. And this is where he gives the long speech where I'm going to go and tell the council everything, and we're going to do this. We're going to find your sister. We're going to...
We have so much to do.
But first, you're going to listen to me talk for a while.
Yep. For 16 years, like he says, I've spent 16 years, and this is why I think this is important. I spent 16 years trying to decide what I would say to you if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
If you knew she was dead, why even think about it? Why would you even think about what you would say?
Okay, so
for 16
you
years?
think he always knew she was alive?
Well, I don't know. So it kind of goes in. It plays into that like this greater conspiracy thing, right? Because if Jedi are what we think they are, right? Then he should have known in the Force whether or not that life was extinguished or not, especially somebody who was a Force user.
Yeah.
So he should have known one way or the other. And maybe not knowing, maybe he had to report her dead because it's like, you're not dead if they didn't find the body, like type thing.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's like, oh, trust me, I saw her die.
yeah. You don't live through something like that. Oh, unless you're cut in half or stabbed in the gut or whatever. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
So why is he thinking? Why was he been thinking about her for 16 years? What he would say to her?
Right.
Unless
he thought she was alive still.
Right. So it struck me as something that, like, okay, this is another reveal for the greater conspiracy.
Yeah.
I think that, again, this episode should have been called Revelation because we're getting the build up here for hopefully what's going to be in the next two episodes, like what you're saying, what actually happened, with the fire and everything else, and then how we go forward.
Yeah.
With what I think, and this is where I think we should talk about kind of what our running theories are.
Okay. Can we just really quick finish up the last of the episode?
Fine, Jason.
All right. So yeah, he tells her, but you and I are going to talk. Dramatic fade to black. Oh, but we're not done yet.
But it's not over.
Right, because earlier in the episode, Kamir tried to talk Osha into putting on his helmet.
Right.
Because, it's like a sensory deprivation thing. It's just you in the forest. And,
Kurtosis, apparently they used it as Padawans, he said.
well, yeah, the with the glass shield down, how am I supposed to fight?
But that's not Kurtosis. That was a fucking...
Well, it could be another element. He said it's just like the helmets we used when we were younglings. So maybe they were using Kurtosis at the time. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, so now she's like looking the mask up and down. There was a scene where she's looking at the cracks in the mask, or like where the fucking Kurtosis is on it, and then she kind of looks up at the wall, and you see this kind of golden.
There's Kurtosis. He's
okay,
in a Kurtosis.
That's what I thought. Like, I'm like, is that a vein of Kurtosis?
Yeah.
Just in the wall there.
And as I was, I picked up on that when I was watching it on the show, but now as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, like, are they trying to tell us what planet this is? Like, okay, here's a planet with Kurtosis rich environment. Like, here's your DoD survey. But you're an island with an inhabitable island planet with lots of water and also Kurtosis. Like, you're a male master sergeant, white, in a unit that has 3.
Right.
Which one are you?
Yeah. And then the last scene is Osha picking it up and slowly putting on the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
You get the view as the helmet's coming down over her face, very similar to the Anakin Vader suit moment. And then you get one external shot of her in the mask, and you can hear her the robotic breathing through the mask's comm or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes back to that view from inside, and then from what I can tell, it seemed like the background that you could just barely see through the peepholes completely changed, and then that's where the fucking thing ended.
Well, I don't know about the background, but I know that there was like childlike. Instead, it sounded to me like you had a voice that was obviously, or like a breathing pattern or whatever that was obviously hers, and then as it was going back into the helmet, it was a child.
Okay, and I can see it because
that's what I heard.
Right, because essentially I think that's what's going to happen at the start of next episode. She's going to go into this sort of force trance, and she's going to see what really happened on Kofar while Sol is telling May also about what happened on Kofar.
That's legit. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I can 100% get behind that.
Yeah. And maybe they'll go back and forth between the two. Her with the helmet on, seeing something, and then we go back to Sol saying something to May.
Yeah, his perspective.
Yeah.
From seeing it from this camera angle.
Yeah.
Here's camera 1, here's camera 2.
Yep. And then that was the end. And as soon as it was over, I'm like, no, because it was like 30 minutes again.
38 minutes.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, and 8 minutes that has fucking credits.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just because it leaves you hanging so much. But thankfully, the next episode is tomorrow. So
right.
That's a good thing. But goddamn. So to kind of wrap this up before we get into more theories, I think this was a good episode. It's that sort of come down episode. You have this fucking just big peak of a fucking battle, lots of people dying. Now you got to kind of, have some resolution there, or some, not resolution, but fallout from that.
Right.
And, we still got some great reveals and some just fantastic dialogue from Kamir and, his interactions with Osha. So, yeah. I enjoyed the episode. I just wish it wasn't so short.
Yeah. And honestly, I agree with you that there was enjoyment to be had.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I would have called this episode Revelations, because that's, to me, all it was like, here, follow along, kids, because we're gonna start opening just a crack. We're gonna give you just the tip.
My penis is so smooth.
And the puzzle pieces are going to start to appear.
Mm-hmm.
And like what we're doing right now is like, okay, we're going to start trying to put these puzzle pieces together. Like, what do we think is going to happen? What do we think is the way forward? And what do we think happened
Yes.
to get us to this point? Because there's two plots, really, right? There's what's happening now.
Yes, the what's happening theme.
And then there's what happened that we have to find out about. So I agree with you that this next episode is going to be the reveal.
Yeah. And I think it's only going to be maybe half the episode, and then the rest of it's going to be like building towards the final climax, which to me, I think it's going to be all on this unknown planet. Because, you know, Saul's now looking for Osha. Fucking Venestra. Okay, here's the thing. If you think Venestra was his former Padawan, do you think she's suspecting that it's him that did all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I kind of get that feeling.
Something to tip the scales is what she said.
Yeah.
And I think she is, that phraseology is coming from probably something that he said to her maybe on his way out.
Yeah.
Or maybe like there's like when the kid was like, who is powerful enough to be able to have all this carnage, right? And she's like, fuck, I know who's out there that can do this.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that, again, why the Jedi aren't using the fact that, hey, that we can feel each other in the Force, or like have an idea what's going on in the Force and use it for situational awareness.
Yeah.
Why they're not using that aspect of it, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like a part of the art that they've shuttered.
Yeah.
Because like, well, we don't want you learning that because it's a path to the dark side. But it would help us out a lot. No. Path to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
It's verboten. Okay. But I can already feel. No. All right. Never mind.
Maybe if you're not a Christian, it kind of sounds like Christianity and the Ten Commandments.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
This is how you have to act.
Right. Do it this way, or you're going to go to hell.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So yeah, I think next episode is going to be, or it's the peak of this whole series is going to be Venestra and her team finding out where Kamir is. Mm-hmm. Fucking Saul getting there also, just in time to find Osha as his new apprentice. And it's going to be everybody versus those two.
Yeah, Osha is going to be compelled to protect him.
Yeah.
For some reason, right?
Well, she's already done it once when Saul was going to fucking behead him.
Right.
She's like, Saul, stop.
But the reason she did that was for Saul, not for him. I think she's going to do it because she wants some answer. Like, he's going to tease her. He's look, man, he's smooth talked her into get her this far, right? He's baited the trap. She hasn't left. She hasn't tried to do whatever. Like, his shtick is working right now.
Yeah.
So I think that he's going to tempt her with, you know, this, like, oh, you want the answers? I can give you the answers.
Yeah.
But we have to go Narthol to Garthog or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you and I have to do this together, and then I will tell you what happened.
Yeah.
You know, or I will help you decode whatever you pulled out of the helmet or something. There's going to be a reason that she is compelled to stand with him against everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Well, she probably, she probably learns the truth of what happens. And then she's like, what the fuck?
And hopefully, like, at some point, there's a bunch of, like, the twins and the Acolyte are standing there giving all these Jedi a middle finger, like, you guys suck, and then fucking peace out, and they go and rekindle the rule of two and fucking make story magic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I still think the rule of two has already been going this whole time, and he is the apprentice of some Sith master. But
he's being so. If we think about it, like how it was presented to us in Bane, right? And we're getting super fucking in the weeds here.
yeah, which admittedly is not canon.
Right. We know Bane's canon.
Yes.
But the stories aren't.
Right.
Haven't been canonized.
Yeah.
But if this is, I forget where I was going with that. Fuck.
We were talking about whether or not Chimera had a Sith master, or if they were rekindling the.
So when the Padawan was off doing things, like Bane's like, okay, I need you to go do this.
Yeah.
Right. If she was gone for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and I don't think he ever really got onto her about it.
Oh, he did.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He did.
About staying gone?
Yeah.
Long?
I just had a. Hang on. I gotta make myself a note. Hang on, because I'm gonna forget.
I don't know what Dave is doing right now. Hopefully truncated silence takes out most of this.
Most of it. Until you started talking.
Yeah. Writing your fucking memoirs over there? What's going on?
Maybe. All right. No, I had there's a follow-up thing that I had to, again, my brain is doing all this shit.
Oh, right,
So,
the Adderall.
Yeah, so I'm like, this other thing vibrated. Dave is being Dave. Yes, Dave is being Dave. Yes,
Yeah.
I am obviously being Dave.
Yeah.
I'm just being Dave on Adderall.
Right. Which seems to be Dave times 10.
Right, Dave. It's Dave faster, faster, more intense. Anyway, yeah, I don't remember where I was going. With that information.
Well, we were talking about Bane, right?
Right.
The Bane books.
Right.
You don't remember what you were going to say?
I don't.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you were getting into like what was canon, what's not. Like that's not in canon anymore is him luring all the Sith and some of the Jedi into that thought bomb.
Right.
And he basically eliminates them all and creates the rule of two.
Right.
So we don't know if that's how it really is.
Yeah,
in the new canon.
Yeah, we don't, and we don't know if. I think where I was going with this is if what the fuck is his name? Yaris. Who's the Sith?
Khmer.
Why do I want to fucking? Why do I want to call this dude a fucking a small Toyota sedan?
What is wrong with you?
I fucking so much. There's so much. Khmer going to White Castle. That's Kumar. We're just going to go with Kumar. So Kumar is
Oh my God.
if he was an apprentice to somebody and he's been out fucking off like this long without reporting back to a master, and we're going into episode 7, that's I feel like that's an extended amount of time to introduce a overlord at this point that he's somehow trying to overthrow, unless we're going to have several seasons of Acolyte.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against for sure, but
Yeah.
I would like some closure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way the showrunner made it sound is that this is a self-contained story is this season. Like if they do another season, it'll be a whole other character and everything. So,
Okay.
yeah, honestly, we're probably going to get force-fed a lot of these details very quickly, and the resolution is going to come faster than we hoped it would.
Yeah.
Ladies. And yeah, we may be disappointed with some of the
My penis so smooth.
the final scenes because we're expecting so much,
Well,
and I think they're just gonna have to.
we don't know
quickly-
how long these last episodes are going to be either.
True, yeah. If they're like an hour and a half each, then I'll give you that.
At least I don't think we know. I mean, somebody might know. Somebody's probably going like, "We absolutely do know. It's already out here on the fucking internet." Man.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, I do believe that the runtimes were published. So,
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go to the Acolytes page on Wikipedia,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to look. We're going to see if the runtimes in fact were published, and I'm looking at. So July 9th, it's calling episode 1-7, and then episode 1-8 are the titles.
Yeah. Oh, so they don't even have titles on them?
No,
Yeah. And no runtimes?
no,
Okay. Well, then
not that I can see.
then we'll not come back to that. So, yeah, I'm loving this series. I really am enjoying it. I just, again, I feel like we're going to be rushing through the ending, which sucks. But otherwise, you know, I'm super excited for the next 2 episodes. And since we're talking about it, we are not having a show next week. We are now on the every other week schedule until the kids go back to school.
Yeah,
So, which is, I think, first week of September.
yeah,
So-
like after Labor Day.
Yeah. So, you know, until then, we'll be going every other week. So we're not going to be next week, but the week after, we're going to talk about the last 2 episodes
Yes.
of Acolyte.
So we'll be closing out the Acolyte.
Yes.
Smirking Bear says it's like a 1-hour finale. So I
Okay.
hope that's true.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. But yeah, I concur. We're going to the every other week so we can have more family time during the summer.
Yeah.
Hooray, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is not like, it's not Andor, right?
No, of course not.
It's not compelling to the point where it's like, oh my God, this is like some of the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Some
in
really
Star
deep
Wars.
shit and
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
But saying that, it's a mystery that has been interesting to try and solve.
Yeah.
Right. And it's real, and it's been playing out to do that. It's been like, okay, here's these pieces. It's not just, I think it's not just people like us who are, you know, doing a weekly podcast to talk about Star Wars and bear down on all these different things and create these, you know, narratives out of nothing because we don't have anything better to do.
Yeah.
I think they deliberately were like, okay, we want this to be a mystery.
Yeah.
We want you don't know these characters, and we want you to have to try and figure this out.
Yeah.
And, you know, come up with your speculation and your theories and everything else. And we're going to have eight episodes to open and shut case, Johnson, and and we'll see how they finish it. And
Yeah.
hopefully they honestly, it's an above average show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an above average just show that I'm interested in watching. And I don't like watching TV.
I never do anymore.
This is Star Wars enough where I'm like, okay, I'm not just watching this because it's Star Wars. I'm watching it because I'm entertained.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I don't rewatch shit like unless I'm really entertained by it. Like, and
Mhm.
I rewatched the last 2 episodes several times in preparation for this show because I think this is a puzzle I want to solve.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is a murder mystery that I want to solve. And I want to be the person that says like, yes, this was it.
Yeah.
You know, Murder She Wrote. I know who the murderer is. But yeah, I've been entertained, and I think it's nice to. I don't know if it's because it was a holiday week or whatever, or just because my ignorance of social media just continues.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever the narrative was for this episode, or I just haven't paid attention.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't home at all, so I didn't look at any of the haters
'cause
either.
we've been doing things. So if there was a lot of hate for this, I missed it.
Yep. Same.
Aside from like, I did see 1 or 2 things about the lasso lightsaber thing,
Yeah.
but even that, I saw like the tagline. I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. My gauge for shit like that is like, if I see it and I go like, what the fuck was that? Like, then I know it's like, okay, that's not Star Wars. Right. If I have to have that type of reaction, because I mean, let's call a spade, right? We're I mean, we know things about Star Wars, right? I
I'd
mean,
like to think so.
we watch enough of it where if it feels like Star Wars, we kind of have a good idea.
Oh, yeah,
of
absolutely.
What is Star Wars?
Yes.
And I'd take the Pepsi challenge on that. And if something like is out of the ordinary, where I go like, man, that really doesn't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first to say it. Like, nah, that really doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins, Leia.
Mhm.
But there hasn't really been very many situations in this series where I've been like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I think this is, everything we're getting has been intriguing and part of the story. So,
yeah, agreed.
So yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised for 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
I keep waiting to turn the page and go like, this is, I knew this was going to suck.
Yeah.
So far so good.
Excellent. And I just have one last thing to say before we close it out. Whatever the answer to this mystery is, like the way they're framing it, this could have, impact on all of Star Wars canon for, a multitude of reasons, being the Sith and, are these people really part of that Sith line and all of that, to like, we find out the Jedi are really fucking awful and send out assassins all the time to kill people, shit like that. So yeah, this finale could have, ramifications across all of the universe.
Agreed.
All right. Well, that is the end of this episode. Thank you to everybody who is. Sorry.
That got more of me than it did anything.
Yeah. Well, he's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's probably embedded in me.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody that joined us on the YouTube tonight. Again, sorry for the lack of communication about the early time, but we are going to do 5 p.m. start time from here on out.
Yeah, we're pushing 5 p.m. We'll let Lunar Girl know for when she comes back online and starts working more content.
Yeah.
That'll be more prolific, and we'll have 2 weeks to figure it out anyway. So
yes. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And again, 2 weeks from now is our next episode. And until that time, Dave and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. That's plastic?
Yeah.
Okay, now what do I click?
I like that. Oh. Yeah. I can really feel my sunburn.
Yeah, it's getting redder as we sit here.
Still can't see it very well on the thing. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I can see it.
Yeah, so can I now. Yeah, because all I'm looking at is the screen. I'm like, that's not too bad. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude, I remember this time last year when we were coming back from Hawaii, and I'm like, I had sunburn on my shoulders, kind of like what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God damn, this is so uncomfortable. Like, I can't believe it was like, it was bothering me as much as it did.
Yeah, I fucking hate sunburns.
And then having to, we're in the airport, going Hawaii to San Francisco because fucking United canceled my damn, like, you booked a direct flight. Yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and make that we're gonna make you change planes in fucking San Fran because reasons.
Yeah.
So end up having to change planes, lugging around my fucking backpack of justice that has way too much shit in it, on these sunburned shoulders, just being miserable about it. And Kathy's giving me shit like, it's just sunburn. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then, next day, take off my, give me the gun. Next day, take off my shirt and realize that, oh no, this was sun poisoning, and I have second-degree burns. What is wrong with your gun?
I have no idea. Was the safety on?
Why would you put Bro.
Worked just fine when I was using it. Are you sure you're pulling the trigger hard enough? All right, let me try.
Nope, I'm going to figure it out.
That's Dave. if anybody's just now joining us, the show's actually over. Dave's just transferring the files and trying to fuck up my bug off gun.
Assault gun.
Assault gun, yes.
It's jammed.
Give me the thing.
Unjam it. Not if we jam it.
The safety was on. Is he still there? Oh, he is.
Why would it? Green should not be. That's so fucking dumb.
Get him?
Dude, look at the little white mark that it made. Like that's exactly where he was.
Oh shit!
But I don't see a body.
Nice.
Yeah. So look at this fucking thing. If you know anything about guns, right? This is firing.
Yeah,
In the fire position, it is green.
Yeah, the safety is off.
Yeah, the safety's off. It's in green. That is the dumbest shit. That is non-gun fucking having motherfuckers. Like, I look down and see green. That doesn't tell me that this is ready to fire.
Yeah.
Like, it should be red. Red means dead.
Oh, speaking of guns, so I walk into the kitchen yesterday to the sound of pop, 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 pop. Brrr. I'm like, what the fuck? I look outside, and my son, just my son, I won't say his name, had a fucking airsoft rifle, and he like had set up a target in the backyard. And he's just like pop, 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 and it's got automatic. Brrr. And I'm like, hey, dude, where'd you get that? And he's like, oh, I bought it off my friend. I'm like,
internet.
I'm like, okay, just so you know, New Jersey law says you still have to have, like a gun permit to have even an airsoft rifle. Like you can't have a BB gun, a fucking pellet gun, or an airsoft gun without some kind of, licensing from the state. So I'm just like, you better take that thing down.
Right.
And not fire this thing again until you figure out how to get your, your permit or whatever.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Yeah. And by the way, he'd never be able to anyway, because as I was reading the law, it said, and all of these guns must come with an orange tip. Not this one.
You could buy aftermarket ones.
Yeah. So like the whole thing looks like a real fucking gun. So I'm just like, dude. Yeah, because like if somebody looks into our backyard, like our neighbors can see right into our backyard because they got a 2-story house, and they see him with a fucking airsoft rifle with no fucking orange tip, and they're gonna be like, is this guy like doing fucking AR-15 practice in the backyard? So yeah, that was interesting.
God, it's so funny. Like at this day and age, like you have to take it that seriously. But when I was a kid, man, we fucking.
Oh yeah, everybody had BB guns.
We
back in
shot
the day.
each other with fucking no shit BB guns.
Yeah, the very first time I picked up a BB gun, I shot my cousin with it.
There's one person probably got shot with a BB gun that got hurt.
Yeah.
And they're like, when I grow up, I'm going to make a law that says BB guns are illegal.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
All right.
You done?
Transferred.
All right, files transferred. We're out, guys. Again, 2 weeks from now, the Acolyte finale.
Yes.
So take care, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.